We have an AccuWeather alert. Tropical storm Faye just formed off the coast of North Carolina. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan tracking the storm. Cecily, Faye is going to bring us some drenching rains tomorrow.
Absolutely, and also some gusty winds along the shore. We do have tropical storm warnings posted for the Jersey Shore right now. This is the center of the storm. It's east of Cape Hatteras right now. Tropical storm Faye packing winds, maximum sustained 45 miles per hour, and it could strengthen a little bit as it pushes to the north. It's over the Gulf Stream, very warm water there, lack of wind shear, and this is going to bring us a lot of rain through the day tomorrow. Future tracker showing 3 o'clock. That's when the center will be moving towards Philadelphia. It looks like it'll be just tracking just inland from the Jersey Shore. Lots of rain, 1 to 3 inches in general, and we need the rain desperately, just not all at once. A flash flood watch has been posted for most of our viewing area, except for the farthest western and northern counties. This is because when you get so much rain in a short period of time, it can run off. It can cause that flash flooding. So we have an AccuWeather alert for tomorrow with the potential for 1 to 3 inches of rain, isolated up to 4 inches. So please stay weather aware. Do not try to drive through any flooded roads. Along the coast, those tropical storm warnings are in effect for wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. And there's also the potential east of the center for some wind shear that could even spin up some severe weather and isolated tornado. I'll run it down as far as the timing coming up in the full AccuWeather forecast. Jim?
Thank you, Cecily. A serious storm on its way. We have an AccuWeather alert.
Yeah, lots of rain on the way tomorrow and very strong winds at the shore. Let's go live on Sky 6, or at the shore camera, the 14th Street Fishing Pier in Ocean City, taking a look at the sand. And there are some people in the water. Get that out of your system today, because tomorrow swimmers stay out of the water. There is a high risk of rip currents. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing Tropical Storm Faye with maximum sustained winds at 45 miles per hour. It's moving north, and it's going to have a high impact event across our region tomorrow. So we do have an AccuWeather alert. First of all, most of our viewing area under a flash flood watch. I do want to stress, turn around, don't drown. Do not drive through any flooded roads. It's really hard to tell how deep the water is. In addition, along the shore, dangerous rip currents and gusty winds. There are tropical storm warnings along the shore. Could have wind gusts there up to about 50 miles per hour, especially the first half of the day tomorrow. So this is the storm, the 6th named storm of the season. This is actually the record for the earliest for the 6th named storm. Maximum sustained winds again 45 miles per hour, and likely will strengthen a bit before it moves in, since it's over very warm water. It's moving north-northeast slowly at 7 miles per hour, but it will also pick up speed tonight. So the official forecast brings it right along the Jersey Shore early tomorrow afternoon, and then it will race up to the north. So this is a one-day event, and most of the rain will be falling during the daylight hours tomorrow. Future tracker timing it out at 6 o'clock in the morning. Areas south and east of Philadelphia already getting the rain. Areas north and west of Philadelphia, it's just clouds. By lunchtime, a band of heavy rain right over the I-95 corridor, and then extending up to the north and west by 4 o'clock. And then Friday night, it moves out. And we're talking about a lot of rain in a fairly short period of time. Most of our viewing area, 1 to 3 inches of rain. This is where we do have the flash flood watches in effect. Could even have locally up to about 4 inches. But there's going to be a sharp cutoff west. Areas west of Reading, likely not much at all, less than an inch of rain. So location is very important. Along the shore, this is where the winds will be the strongest. Wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. That's why we have that tropical storm warning. And future tracker showing in the morning with that low pressure, when Faye is to the south, you get that easterly wind. There's no friction over the water. So that's when the wind's gusting up to about 50 miles per hour. But once Faye moves north, we get that return flow out of the west. It's over land. There's a lot of friction. It slows the winds down. By the afternoon, the winds gusting up to about 20 miles per hour, so not that strong. Right now, dew points show you it feels tropical out there. Dew points in the upper 60s and low 70s, and that heat index in the 90s. And once we get rid of Tropical Storm Faye, we get the return of the heat and humidity. So the exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast, we have an AccuWeather alert for those drenching rain tomorrow, and also those high winds at the shore. With the rain, it's going to be quite a bit cooler. The high only Friday, 82. Don't get used to it, though. By Saturday, the heat and humidity is back, 91 degrees. A few afternoon thunderstorms possible. 93 on Sunday. Monday, officially heat wave number 2, but it doesn't end on Monday. The heat will continue right through the week. By Thursday, up to 95 degrees, the hottest day so far this year. I will have an update on the heaviest rain from Faye on Action News tonight at 11. Jim?
Thank you, Cecily.
Good morning. We are talking about Tropical Storm Faye. Let's bring in Karen Rogers, who's taking a look at the roads and the weather, and David Murphy, who, of course, has the track for the day. Good morning.
Good morning. We started our week with a flash flood event, and now we're watching for the potential for more flash flooding at the end.
Yeah, why not wrap it up that way? Yeah, as we take a look at the Weather Center, we do have lots of issues, and it's all because of Faye. Became a tropical storm at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, now riding up the coast and expected to make landfall probably somewhere around Atlantic City. This is not the strongest windstorm, but it is going to produce a fair amount of rain. Fortunately, not a hurricane, but a tropical storm, and that still has issues. We have a tropical storm warning starting in Cape May and going all the way up into New England today. Wind gusts could go as high as 40 to 50 miles per hour at times. And of course, heavy rain also part of the package. And rain could be an issue across most of the region. We have a flash flood watch that extends now into the Poconos, down through the Lehigh Valley in Berks County, and all the way to the shore. Locally heavy rain totaling anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, probably a drop off out to the west at some point, but 1 to 3 inches in some areas going 4 or more. And it's going to be coming down in such a hurry in some cases that we are looking at the potential of flash flooding. 9 o'clock looks like we'll still have most of our heaviest rain down at the shore, although Philadelphia is probably getting wet. And then later in the early afternoon hours, anywhere from about lunchtime on, we've got the chance of that heavy rain pushing all the way up into Philadelphia and then rotating farther to the north by dinner time. There'll still be some lingering cells rotating around. Shore probably drying out earlier in the day, but we could still be wet in Philadelphia and areas close to the city all the way up into the evening hours. 76 degrees right now in Philadelphia, 73 in Allentown, 73 in Cape May. Starting to rain across much of South Jersey and only going up to about 80 for a high today. Karen, we'll take a closer look at the various impacts from Tropical Storm Faye today and the weekend call. Things changing a bit as we head into Saturday and Sunday.
All right, Dave, we've been mentioning that the heavy rain is coming in bands around the tropical system, and that's what we're seeing in our cameras. We're live here in Cape May, one of the hardest hit areas currently with the heavy rain, but you can see it's not bad at the moment. And Route 109 at 9, just south of this area, I'm seeing some heavier rain on the radar. If you have to head out right now, you're seeing that guy here on Route 109 moving along okay. Just be careful as you head out, but the rain coming down there. Here's Route 1, and this is right now in Delaware, in Frederica, and we can see it's wet. They've got the headlights on, kind of a slow go, but you can still head out if you have to head to work. Just be careful as that rain builds through the area. It's dry here, but the problem in the Conshohocken is our breaking news. The Blue Route northbound at the Schuylkill, we had a vehicle fire at one point fully engulfed. You see all those crews still on the scene. That tanker truck off to the side of your screen, they were concerned about that overheating. So keeping a close eye on that. Haven't towed away the vehicles just yet, and traffic slow with one lane getting by, Matt.
Thank you, Karen. Tropical Storm Faye is shaping up to be a triple threat for the Jersey Shore, bringing rain, rip currents, and the chance for flooding. Action News reporter Catherine Scott is live in Ocean City. And Catherine, looks like you have plenty of room for social distancing on the boardwalk.
Yes, we are on the Ocean City boardwalk this morning, Matt. Unfortunately, about 5 hours too early for Core Brothers, but you win some, you lose some. It is raining here. It's been raining here for hours. The downpours do get heavy at times. It might lighten up a little, and then it comes right back at you. The wind has picked up a teeny bit. I think it's really going to get later on is when we're going to see more wind gusts, because right now it's really not too bad. And if you look at the water, you can see that it's really churning right here in Ocean City. Dangerous rip currents expected today as the storm is moving in. Not a good day to get in the water. It would be very dangerous in there today. There is a concern for flash flooding. The ground is already soaked from storms earlier this week. The Office of Emergency Management in Ocean City is warning people that heavy rain flooding can impact areas that don't typically experience tidal flooding. So you've got to keep your eye out. Make sure you move your car. If you see that water rising, do not try to go through it. Turn around, don't drown. We are live in Ocean City. Catherine Scott, Channel 6 Action News.
All right, thank you, Catherine. It's 6:09. Let's take a live look here, the view from Sky 6, the Brandywine cam. Looking out over the city of Philadelphia, we know there's already rain coming down the shore. We can see the gray clouds here. It'll eventually make its way this way. It's already 76 degrees. Let's go on over to Karen Rogers, who's keeping an eye on that and traffic. Good morning.
Yeah, we continue to follow Tropical Storm Faye, tracking up the coastline now, just a little bit over 100 miles south of Cape May, the center of that storm. But as you look at Storm Tracker 6, you can see that the rain bands are already hitting not only the coastline, Strathmere, Atlantic City, Cape May, in Surf City, but even inland now, in Mullica, in Dover, Delaware, you're getting the rain. In Wilmington, just a little drizzle, and the drizzle not too far off from the city itself. But that heavier rain is farther south. As we widen out, you can see the spin with this system as it tracks up the coastline and now expected to track inland and right up our coastline here. So let's talk about the quick cast, what you can expect the next couple of days here. 80 degrees for your high. We've got downpours. We have flooding concerns with Tropical Storm Faye hitting our area. And then tomorrow it's humid. You're done with the tropical storm. It moves out of here in a hurry, but you get a chance for a thunderstorm later in the afternoon, 91. So although we're really in it today, the weekend's not impacted by it. On Sunday, it's sticky. It's a scorcher, 93 degrees, feeling hotter than that when you factor in the humidity. Dave's going to be back with the 7-day in just a minute. He's going to have the latest timing on Faye to try to help you plan your day, and especially if you're going to be along the coastline, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not mowing the lawn today, that's for sure, Karen.
Oh, good. Day off.
Yeah, just watch it grow. Thanks so much. Let's turn now to David Murphy. We have a tropical storm in our midst, David.
We sure do. It's Faye. It formed late yesterday afternoon, and it is now pushing its outer rain bands in on the Jersey coastline. The heavier rain will be making its way up into Philadelphia later this morning and into the early afternoon. Tropical Storm Faye with 50-mile-per-hour winds, probably not growing much stronger than that. Somewhat of a wind maker down the shore, but the biggest issue will be bands of heavy rain that'll be coming in across the region today. It's moving north at 10 miles per hour, getting closer and closer to Cape May, and probably making landfall somewhere around the central Jersey coast at some point later this afternoon. Atlantic City, right around there, is possible for that landfall later on, perhaps by about 2 o'clock or so this afternoon. Heavy rain bands still off the coast, but a decent line of showers right now moving all the way up into southern Gloucester and Camden County. If we go in closer, all of these areas around Millville, Morris River, Dover, Delaware, and Milford also picking up some fairly steady rain, but again, it's farther off the coast where you're seeing the heavy banding with that orange and red, and that is on the way a little bit later on this morning. As we take a look between now and 9 o'clock, some of that heaviest rain pushing in to the coast and then making it up to Philadelphia close to noon, and the rest of the afternoon we're seeing this heaviest band pop through into the northern and western suburbs. That's the 3 o'clock view. By 6 o'clock, it looks like the heaviest rain's probably up in the Poconos, but we'll still have some pinwheeling precipitation around the center of that storm. That may not actually be out of the northern suburbs until closer to 10 o'clock or so. And in terms of rainfall amounts, we're generally going 1 to 3 inches. There will be a pretty sharp cutoff out to the west where you won't see as much, but pockets of 3 to 4 inches are certainly possible, and this model actually pushing about 5 inches down in Wilmington. It will really depend on the exact track of the storm, but I would say that anywhere in these purple and orange areas, even if you don't get these exact numbers, you are looking at the potential of flash flooding. Severe storms also not out of the question, particularly over by the coast in coastal counties. A chance of an isolated storm that could produce damaging wind and hail, a little better chance up in Ocean County, and a slight chance of an isolated tornado in some of these areas, including the eastern half of Burlington County and most of Cape May and Atlantic County. And if the storm system should track a little farther inland, that might even be pushed to the inland areas. So heavy rain today, 1 to 3 inches, an isolated 4 inches, 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts along the coast. And as I mentioned, a spin up tornado is possible, especially in South Jersey over toward the east. Your 7-day from AccuWeather, today's high is 80. Downpours will be likely at times, and that could lead to flash flooding. A reminder that anytime you're walking or driving around today and you see even a little bit of flood water, turn around, don't drown. That water could rise in a hurry, depending on how the runoff is going. Even if the heavy rain has passed, you could still have rising water. And then tomorrow, back up into the low 90s. It'll be humid. There's a chance of some thunderstorms in the afternoon. 93, sticky, kind of scorching on Sunday with another storm. Then a one-day break on Monday with a high of 88, but it's back into the 90s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and especially Thursday. Good morning, everyone. Tropical Storm Faye making its approach, and the outer rain band's already coming into South Jersey. 50-mile-per-hour winds at the center of the storm, and some of those could transfer up the coast into our coastal communities later on today. Definitely keep rain gear handy today and flood awareness, as there will be periods of heavy rain that could produce flash flooding. Otherwise, it's T-shirts and shorts along with the umbrella or the rain poncho. Temperatures holding in the 70s for the most part today, possibly getting up to a brief high of 80 later this afternoon. Down the shore about 80 as well, with a high risk of rip currents. Obviously not a good day to be in the water, and everybody again really needs to be mindful of that possibility of a little bit of floodwater developing and then suddenly rising quickly. Matt, Tam?
Now in Action News, Tropical Storm Faye is already being felt at the Jersey Shore. As we take a look on the attheshore.com camera into Atlantic City, you can see the rain is coming down, and AccuWeather is tracking its impact on the entire Delaware Valley.
David and Karen have the latest on Tropical Storm Faye.
That's right. And while the heavy rain bands along the coastline, the light rain is spreading through interior parts of New Jersey and Delaware, Dave.
And the heaviest stuff is yet to come, Karen. Take a look as we have Faye churning up the coast. This did become a tropical storm late yesterday afternoon, and the outer rain bands, as Karen described, are arriving. There is a tropical storm warning along our coast all the way up into New England. Gusts up to 50 miles per hour aren't out of the question in coastal counties. And, of course, the heavy rain also an issue. And that's an issue away from the coast. Everyone all the way up into the Poconos, Lehigh Valley covered by this. A flash flood warning or watch in effect today, where locally heavy rain could produce flash flooding that is the sort of flooding where it looks like it's just a little bit on the roadways, but then the runoff happens, the heavy rain pops in, and it comes up in a hurry. So if you do encounter even what looks like just slight flooding on the roadways, real good idea to turn around, particularly if you're heading down into a low hollow in the roadway or in the walkway for that matter. And here comes the rain on Future Tracker. It looks like between now and about 9 o'clock this morning, the heaviest bands are beginning to push in to coastal counties. It will continue to migrate up to the north by about lunchtime or so, and by 2 o'clock it looks like the center of the region is the focal point of this heaviest band, and then after that it shoots farther up to the north toward the Poconos. By 6 o'clock we're probably still looking at some pinwheeling cells rotating in through Philadelphia, and I don't expect the last of this to really be gone through the northern suburbs until after about 10 o'clock tonight. 76 degrees on the ground right now in Philadelphia, 73 in Allentown, 73 in Cape May. Obviously already raining in South Jersey. And as we go through the day, we're holding in the 70s for the most part with that rain coming down. There's the chance that we get up briefly to 80 for a high, and at just about any time there is the chance in parts of the region of a shower, maybe even a rumble of thunder, some strong, severe storms possible, particularly over by the coast. So lots going on, and we'll break all this down for you when I come back with the full forecast. And Karen, we'll also be talking about some changes for the weekend.
Dave, we're looking live right now outside, and we can see that we've got some heavy rain in spots, and this is one of them. We're at Route 1 at Route 54, and look at that vehicle. You don't want to drive through flooded roadways, but you can see how much water is on the road. This is southern Delaware here, Fenwick Island, just south of Bethany Beach, and we had also seen the traffic lights kind of swaying in this area with the wind gusts that have come down. Tropical Storm Faye hitting the area. Be careful as you're traveling. So that's southern Delaware. Here near Wilmington, we've got an accident where we have lighter rain, but nonetheless, the roads are wet, and Route 41 southbound is shut down at Route 52 because of an accident scene there. So watch for that. Stick to DuPont Road instead. Here's a live look in Conshohocken, our breaking news on the Blue Route northbound at the Schuylkill. Early this morning, we had a vehicle fire. The vehicles have not been removed yet. We've got fire crews, emergency workers. Only one lane's been getting wide for a while now. Take a look at this backup. If you're traveling on the Blue Route northbound near Route 30, you are not moving. I mean, the vehicle fire happened a while ago. The fire is out. They were concerned about the safety of a tanker truck nearby, kind of waiting for that to cool down. In the meantime, you were sitting in jam traffic on the Blue Route northbound, Tam.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Now back to our AccuWeather alert and Tropical Storm Faye. We have some new video just in from Fenwick Island, Delaware. This is right along Route 1 at Route 54 at the Maryland line, where you can see there is quite a bit of flooding there on the road. And this is what we've been saying. Be careful. Try to get out of that. Don't go into that. Turn around. Don't drown. Cars are having to maneuver through that high water. You can also get an idea of the winds there. You see the traffic lights swaying back and forth. Again, this is a look from the traffic cameras there in Fenwick Island. And as Tropical Storm Faye continues to churn north, there are warnings posted now for all the counties along the Jersey Shore. The storm is expected to bring some drenching downpours, gusty winds, and some possible coastal flooding, which, as we just showed you there in Fenwick Island. Action News reporter Catherine Scott is live in Ocean City, where we've seen some heavy rain come in. She's got the latest update. Good morning.
Good morning, Tam. Yeah, definitely pouring rain here. It's been raining here for hours. We have still seen a couple people jogging and riding their bikes on the boardwalk this morning. They are very dedicated. I might take the morning off. But as you can see here on the boardwalk, it's other than us and a few raindrops. There's not a whole lot going on here. Very quiet. And that's going to be the day as this soaking weather sticking around. The storm is expected to dump several inches of rain on us. And if you look at the water, the ocean is just churning here in Ocean City. Dangerous rip currents in the water today. It's not a day to get in. In our area, flash flooding is a concern given that some areas are already saturated from recent storms. Wind gusts are expected to strengthen mid-morning. They have picked up a little bit here, but not too bad quite yet. Here in Ocean City, the Office of Emergency Management is warning people that heavy rain flooding can impact parts of the island that don't typically experience tidal flooding. So you're going to want to be ready to move your cars if need be. Just keep an eye on wherever you're parked. But again, as you're taking a look around here live, you can see it's a very soggy Friday morning here in Ocean City, and that rain is expected to continue. We are live in Ocean City. Catherine Scott, Channel 6 Action News.
All right, thank you, Catherine, and we'll have updates throughout the day on Tropical Storm Faye right here on 6ABC. If you're out, make sure you download the 6ABC app. That way you can check the live radar.
Let's track Tropical Storm Faye right now. We're seeing the heavy rain bands, and look at the areas of orange and a little bit of red moving just north of Atlantic City. So we're seeing heavy rain bands coming in and out along the Jersey coastline, in Dover, a soaking rain, in Millville, New Jersey, as well. As you look up towards Wilmington, it's just a little bit of light rain, and South Jersey and approaching Philadelphia, a little bit of light rain near that area right now. We take a wider look and you can see the spin in the atmosphere with this tropical storm now less than 100 miles south of Cape May. So tracking it right through our coastline here. Here's what we can expect with this timing. This morning, the heavy rain is to the south, but by later this morning into the early afternoon hours, we're going to see the heaviest rain in the heart of our region. A lot of people wondering how long this lasts. The late afternoon and evening hours is when the heaviest rain finally lifts north. So a lot to deal with as a tropical storm just south of our coastline draws near. Let's take a look at your quick cast. The AccuWeather alert today. We've got downpours, concerns with flooding, 80 degrees for your high. And then tomorrow, we're done with the tropical system. It's a weekend in the summer, and it's a hot one. Humid, a thunderstorm around in the afternoon, 91 degrees for your high, even hotter on Sunday. It's sticky and a scorcher, 93, but we'll feel even hotter than that. A very hot 7-day forecast. The heat just builds, Tam. Dave will be back with that. And of course, the latest with Tropical Storm Faye coming up in just a few minutes.
All right. We know you got your eyes on it. Thank you, Karen. Not going to be a good pool day. Good day to figure out something to do indoors.
Yeah, maybe you think about that over the weekend when the heat comes back. Right now, we're looking at issues all related to Tropical Storm Faye. The storm is on its way up the coast, now off the shore of the eastern shore of Maryland, and it is bounding its way up toward Cape May and Atlantic City, probably making landfall somewhere early this afternoon around Atlantic City. This would be a more catastrophic issue if this was a hurricane. I think the biggest issue we're looking at, aside from some thunderstorms right along the coast and some possible strong wind gusts of about 30 to 50 miles per hour, I think the biggest issue really is the heavy rain that we're going to get from this. Again, we're looking at this cutting right up through coastal counties of North Jersey later today and tonight, and then on up into New England as an area of low pressure after that. Heaviest rain band is really still off the coast, but will be pushing in fairly quickly to areas down along the coast. In Philadelphia, we have been overtaken by a little bit of light rain, the heaviest rain on the way late this morning or early this afternoon. And the closer view at the shore, really wet down there right now with that heavier rain in the process of coming in. We've had a couple of lightning bolts so far embedded in this. I think there'll be a bit more of that when we get that heavier rain coming in later this morning and early this afternoon. So there you see the 10 o'clock view. Philadelphia probably still being spared from the heaviest stuff, but eventually that will make it up into the I-95 corridor between Trenton and Wilmington. This is the 2 o'clock view. Some of that heavy stuff stuff starting to push into the northern suburbs at that point. By 5 o'clock, most of the heavy stuff has lifted all the way off to the north, with the center of the storm rotating through the region. And by about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, most of the northern suburbs should be in the process of drying out. We are expecting a lot of rain out of this. There'll be a cutoff out to the west where it's less than an inch, but anywhere from a general 1 to 3 inches, which is quite a bit, especially if you're getting most of that in a hurry, as we will today. And some areas could go as high as 4 inches or more. So a lot of rain on the way. That should say today, by the way. And sustained winds down the shore will be a factor, 20s to 30 mile per hour range, and then the gusts going 40 to 50 miles per hour. So not to downplay the rain, there could be some trees and wires down because of this, but not catastrophic from what you would have from a stronger tropical storm. There will be heavy surf, though, and definitely a possibility of flooding with that water piling up on the ocean. Also a chance of severe weather, an isolated strong storm that could produce damaging wind and hail along our coastal counties, and an isolated tornado can't be ruled out. And the Storm Prediction Center could theoretically pull that a little farther to the west should things develop with a track of that storm a little farther inland. Rip current risk is also high. Not that this is a day that I think anybody is seriously considering going in the water. That's a real bad idea. Today's high 80, an AccuWeather alert for the downpours that will be coming through. Gusty winds at the shore, somewhat of a factor. And of course that flash flooding, the really big issue across most of the region. And then tomorrow, humid, and we're back up into the low 90s. 91 with a scattered storm later in the day. 93, a couple of storms around there as well. We get a one-day break on Monday with a high of 88, but we're right back into the 90s after that. Mid-90s by Thursday.
Let's go over here to Route 52 at Shore Road here, and we can see near Ocean City, roads are wet. If you have to drive around right now through that area, not seeing too many problems near Ocean City, but certainly you never want to drive through those flooded waters, Matt.
Catherine Scott is live in Ocean City, where Tropical Storm Faye is moving in. Catherine.
Matt, it is pouring here in Ocean City. It has been for several hours, and it will continue to today as Faye moves in. If you take a look at the water right now off Ocean City, you can see it is churning. Dangerous rip currents today, a dangerous day to get in the water. The wind so far is picking up, but not too bad. They're really expected to get stronger later on this morning. There is a concern for flash flooding today. The ground is already soaked from storms earlier in the week. Keep an eye on your parked cars. You may see flooding in areas where you don't normally get it. We are live in Ocean City. Catherine Scott, Channel 6 Action News.
Thanks, Catherine. I've got another shot near Ocean City here, and we can see people are driving along. If you have to head out, the roads aren't too bad here, but the rain is coming down, so you got to be careful there.
Well, Catherine said it. Faye is definitely at the shore. You can see the rain bands coming in all the way up to Philadelphia with some light rain now. The heaviest rain still off the coast, but it's coming as well. And as we go up to lunchtime, Philadelphia will be very close to getting hit with this. The biggest issue as this rolls through is flash flooding. Definitely a possibility all the way past dinner time. The rain will work its way down after that, but I do want you to be flood aware today. If you happen to run into any flooded walkways or roadways, turn around right away, guys.
Good morning. I'm Tamala Edwards at 7:23 on this Friday, July 10th. Let's go on over to meteorologist David Murphy, who has the latest on today's AccuWeather alert. Good morning.
A little bit of light rain on the terrace, Tam. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan shows you that there is rain from Faye now beginning to push in over the coast, getting heavy in Cape May County. The rest of us dealing with lighter to moderate rain, but it's all going to get heavy later on. Tropical storm warning down the shore across the Jersey coastline all the way up into New England. Gusts could go as high as 50 miles per hour today. And the other big issue is flash flooding. Locally heavy rain could get anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, maybe a bit more than that in some spots. So be careful about any areas that you find that are flooded today. You want to turn around. Don't drown in any fast rising water. And 80 degrees is your high. AccuWeather alert for those off and on downpours that will be moving up from the south and then into the northern suburbs gradually as we go through the day and in through the afternoon. Tomorrow, 91 degrees, hotter again, a bit humid, an afternoon thunderstorm possible, and then sticky, kind of a scorcher on Sunday with a high of 93. Tam, the rain's on the way. Faye passing through the region today.
Good morning. I'm Tamala Edwards at 7:56 on this Friday, July 10th. Let's head on over to David Murphy, who's keeping his eye on this AccuWeather alert. Good morning.
Tropical storm Faye getting a little closer to us as we speak. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan Tam shows us that we do have some bands of heavier rain now pushing in over Cape May County. You see some reds and some yellow there. This is as expected. The closer we get to 9 o'clock, the more of that you'll see down the shore. Philadelphia just looking at some light rain for now, but by lunchtime that heavier heavier rain should be up in the city and then later this afternoon into the northern and western suburbs. We have a tropical storm warning in effect up and down the coastline and then all the way up to New England. At some point, Faye is going to be very close to Ocean City, Atlantic City. Whether or not it comes ashore here or scoots past us and gets up to the north, it really doesn't make much difference. Either way, we're going to get strong winds at the shore and possible flash flooding everywhere else. And you can see that there is a flash flood watch that extends all the way up into the Lehigh Valley and the Poconos, and that's throughout today. Your exclusive AccuWeather 7-day shows that AccuWeather alert for periods of heavy rain today that could produce flash flooding. A high of 80 degrees, some places stuck in the 70s, and the rain tapers off later tonight. Then tomorrow, 91, and Sunday, 93. A couple of spotty weekend thunderstorms are possible. Tam?
Okay, thank you, David. Sky 6 taking a live look here in Ocean City via the Ben Franklin Bridge, and you can see those raindrops have moved from the shore into the city, and they're coming down. That's it for now, but of course we're keeping our eye on this storm. We'll see you back here in 30. Good morning. It's 8:27 on this Friday, July 10th. I'm Tamala Edwards. Let's go on out to David Murphy, who's got the latest on what's going on with AccuWeather. Good morning.
Tam, Tropical Storm Faye on the way, and the outer rain bands have now reached Philadelphia. It was light rain and real light rain about a half hour ago. Now we're starting to get a little steadier rain coming in. The heaviest is still down by the shore, highlighted in red. All of that super heavy rain will be up in Philadelphia probably by early afternoon and in the northern western suburbs shortly after that. One change to this map, a tropical storm warning not only in South Jersey now, but it's been extended south to Rehoboth Beach. The center of Faye is only about 50 miles south of Cape May at this point. And as it passes through the region, it is going to be bringing some downpours at times, and that's incurring a flash flood watch across the region. Look for locally heavy rain. Some of us could wind up with 1 to 3 inches, and a good bulk of that could fall fairly quickly over, say, maybe an hour, 2-hour period, depending on how that band sets up where you are. AccuWeather alert today with a high of 80. We've got occasional downpours. That flash flooding definitely an issue. Rather windy and blustery down the shore, and rip currents bad. And then we're back into the low 90s this weekend with just some scattered storms around. Tam?
Okay, thank you, David. Now let's head on out to Karen Rogers, who's got the latest on trying to drive around in all of this mess. Good morning.
Yeah, roads are getting wet and we've got accidents. This is a big one, a multi-vehicle accident right on I-95 in Southwest Philadelphia. Looks like a couple of trucks. I'm seeing just now, you're seeing PennDOT pull up to the scene with an arrow board. There was already a fire truck on the scene and traffic kind of squeezing by. This is I-95 as you head southbound in Enterprise Avenue here in Southwest Philadelphia. Also the Blue Route, it has been jammed solid. You are still, it looks like at a standstill, right? This is the Blue Route northbound near Route 30, all because of an accident involving a tractor trailer fire and a fuel spill that's up ahead that's been creating big problems driving through Delaware County. It's a slow go there, Tam.
Good morning. It's 8:56 on this Friday, July 10th. I'm Tamala Edwards, and AccuWeather alert is out across the area. Let's go to David Murphy to talk about Tropical Storm Faye. Good morning.
And it's all because of Faye, Tam. Take a look. Storm Tracker 6 Live double scan showing you that the rain, the heaviest, now moving past Cape May, although we do have a flood warning in Cape May that has popped up. And this is probably not expiring until sometime early this afternoon. We had a quick 2 inches of rain there, so some flash flooding possible. And that's what's in store for the rest of us as we go through the rest of the day. Those heavy bands, which are getting a little steadier here in Philadelphia now, are going to push north through South Jersey this morning, probably come in through Philadelphia around the middle to early afternoon hours, and then push farther up to the north after that. And as the heaviest rain is coming through, you could get flash floods. And I think there's going to be a lot more warnings from south to north today before we're done. Today's high 80 degrees, an AccuWeather alert because of the downpours and flooding. The rain tapers off later this evening, and then it's hot again this weekend, Tam.
All right. Thank you, David. Now let's go on over to Karen Rogers. It has been a rough morning out there on the roads. How are things now?
And probably getting rougher. David mentioned that flash flood warning, so it's not a surprise that now we've got flooding in Wildwood, and the George Redding Bridge is closed right now due to flooding. They do have both the North Wildwood and Lower Township bridges still open to Wildwood Crest, but the Wildwood Bridge right there is shut out because of flooding right now. We also have flooding in Delsea Drive and Route 9 near Wildwood, so lots of flooding going on there. This is not a weather problem. This is an accident scene, but Tam, on the Blue Route at the Schuylkill, when they set up a tent, you know they're going to be a while.
Yep, that is true. Well, David and Karen will continue to track and time out Tropical Storm Faye here on Action News at noon. Live with Kelly and Ryan next up here on 6 ABC. I'm Tamala Edwards. Have a great morning.
Today on Tamron Hall. Good morning to you. I'm Gray Hall. We are tracking an AccuWeather alert as Tropical Storm Faye is moving over the Delaware Valley. The shore feeling the effects early this morning. Heavy rain is already flooding streets along the coast, like right there in Stone Harbor. And Sky 6 Live at the Center City Brandywine camera there. Rain bands from Faye will bring plenty of moisture inland as well. Let's get you right over to meteorologist David Murphy tracking Faye and the timing of this system. David.
Well, Faye is moving up the coast and getting very close to Cape May right now, Gray. Probably within 50 miles of Cape May, New Jersey, and even closer to Rehoboth. 50-mile-per-hour winds at the center of the storm right now, making it a tropical storm. It's moving north at 10 miles per hour. Some of the gusts are going as high as 65 miles per hour. Not devastating winds, but certainly strong enough to pile that water in on the beaches, push it into the streets, as you've just seen. And, of course, this is a big rainmaker, too, with that flow off the moist ocean. And we've had some heavy rain coming through Cape May County, Atlantic County. Most of this is now pushing toward the west. You can see the heavy rain features here, though, and some lightning also. This is a thunderstorm coming in north of Atlantic City and Brigantine and south of Surf City, pushing up the AC Expressway at this hour. And that heavy rain earlier has produced some problems. The morning's first flash flood warnings are in effect in Cape May County up into Atlantic County. Even in areas where the heavy rain is now pushing away, you still have runoff. Across the bay in Lewis, Delaware, you're also looking at a flash flood warning. 2 to 3 inches of rain fell out of this, and of course there's a little bit more being added. So if you're in Wildwood, Cape May, Sea Isle City, we showed you Stone Harbor, all these places experiencing flooded roads. And it's the same story as you go up the coast toward Ocean City, Atlantic City, and then inland to Egg Harbor, Galloway, Mays Landing. These are some of the areas getting hit with that thunderstorm, which is also currently producing heavy downpours. And notice how that heavy rain is pushing away from the coast and pushing toward these areas. So there's a flood advisory for you if you're in Cumberland County, southern Salem County, southern Gloucester and Camden counties, and northern Atlantic County. The same thing in Delaware from Smyrna south through Dover all the way to the coast. That's because that heavy rain is now pushing into these areas. There's been some rain ahead of it, more heavier stuff coming, and that probably means more flash flooding. And there's a flash flood watch across the entire region. One change overnight was that the Lehigh Valley, Berks County, and the Poconos have now been added to this, so everyone has a shot as we go through the day of the heavy rain coming in from the storm, going through I-95 and perhaps later today reaching all the way up into the Lehigh Valley. And of course we have a tropical storm warning down along the coast. This has been now extended down into the Delaware beaches and southern Sussex County. That's a change this morning. And it also includes all of the Jersey Shore as well. Gusts could go as high as 40 to 50 miles per hour today. And again, that tidal flooding in addition to the heavy downpour related flooding. Future Tracker 6 shows you that between now and noon, the heaviest rain very likely pushing up close to Philadelphia, maybe even getting up into the northern suburbs. Could take a little bit longer. By 3 o'clock, we're still looking at pockets of heavy rain in and around Philadelphia and points north. The shore not seeing as much as we get into the afternoon hours. And then a little bit more shower activity coming in through the southern tier and more heavy stuff by 6 o'clock. It does look like this is mostly getting on out of here by about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. Expected rainfall anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. Some isolated areas could even go as high as 4 inches. Notice how there's a real drop off once you get out west of the region in Lancaster County and western Berks County. But all of these areas are looking at heavy rain potential. One other issue, severe storms. It's a possibility. If the storm itself should track farther enough inland, and we do think it's probably coming ashore around Atlantic City later in the early to mid-afternoon hours, anything to the east of the center of that storm could produce a severe thunderstorm, producing wind, maybe a little bit of hail, and there's even an isolated chance of a tornado. So if you hear thunder, even now, but especially later this afternoon, in Atlantic County, Cape May County, Burlington County, or Ocean County, you want to make sure you're indoors on the lower floors in case an isolated tornado hits. Lots going on, Gray, and this is going to continue to evolve. We'll continue to update you on the hour.
Indeed, David, you and the team promised this would be here. It is here today. We'd like to remind you to stay with Action News throughout the day for updates as Tropical Storm Faye moves through the area. Right now, let's get you back outside. Another live look there from Sky 6 at the shore.com camera in Ocean City. You can see the effects there of Tropical Storm Faye. We'll have another live update for you at 11. And you can always check in with 6abc.com and the 6ABC app. We now join Cameron Hall in progress. Good morning to you. I'm Gray Hall. We are tracking an AccuWeather alert. A tropical storm warning is in effect for coastal New Jersey and Delaware as Tropical Storm Faye moves over the region. Faye is packing winds of 50 miles per hour and dumping rain both on the coast and also inland. Two brave souls, a cyclist and a runner, proving that they are weatherproof on the Ocean City Boardwalk this morning as they brave the elements out there. The big concern for the Delaware Valley, of course, is flash flooding. Many roads at the shore already experiencing that this morning. This was a scene just within the hour along 46th Street in Sea Isle City. Let's get you right over to meteorologist David Murphy with the latest track and what we can expect from Faye throughout the day. David.
Well, Gray, we have seen a lot of rain from Faye, 2 to 3 inches in some areas down to the south. Now the heaviest band is pushing up through northern Burlington County, and we're starting to see some heavier rain fill in through the northwestern suburbs of Bucks County, Montgomery County, and Chester County, Delaware County, and Philadelphia, picking up a little bit more of this, and also a heavy band now scooting up through Salem and Cumberland County. All of this is tending to push off to the north and west the rest of the way as we go through the afternoon. Flash flood watch is in effect across the entire region. Turn around, don't drown if you do encounter flooded areas. At worst, you're going to have your car stall and you'll just be in the way of emergency crews trying to get to people in bigger trouble. And at worst, you could get yourself into a risk. Dangerous rip currents at the shore, of course, not a great day to go swimming. Gusty winds along the shore, too. All of this because of Tropical Storm Faye as the storm approaches. Some late stats coming in Lewis, Delaware, we've had a gust up to 49 miles per hour, and they have had sustained winds in the low 40s, and that is tropical storm force. In Long Neck, nearby, a 57 mile per hour gust, about 44 in Atlantic City. I just caught that. In Wildwood, the rain, mainly from earlier this morning, was over 3 inches, and it came down in a hurry, and that's why we have all that flooding that we just showed you on the action cam. Atlantic City's rain, you've just been in a little bit of a bowling alley there where there's been a lot just to your north and a lot to the south, but only 3/4 of an inch on the ground. And the current movement again shows you how this is pinwheeling back through Philadelphia and up toward the northern and western suburbs. The heavier rain really centered now in parts of South Jersey. And of course, down the shore, it's letting up a little bit, but you still have that runoff creating continuing problems. A flash flood watch in effect probably until this evening across most of the region. It has been extended up through the Lehigh Valley, Berks County, and Mount Pocono. That's all new this morning. And again, basically the idea here is that if you run into flooded conditions, you want to avoid it and not just try and plow into it. Flash flood warnings have been extended a little bit too. We're still seeing this in Cape May and down in Delaware. Middle Township, Lower Township, Wildwood, Cape May, Sea Isle City, but now it's extended all the way up through Little Egg Harbor and Surf City and Galloway, and this is because of a heavy thunderstorm that came through, dumping a lot of rain in a hurry. And the flood advisories have also been extended. Areas around Hamilton all the way up to Tabernacle, New Jersey have now been tacked on, and now just as we're live on the air, they've also extended the flood advisory up through Wilmington, Delaware, Newark, Delaware, Middletown, virtually all of Newcastle County, Delaware. It looks like southern Chester County is included with this, southern Delaware County, and areas just to the south of Washington Township, actually Washington Township included, and I take that back, just the southern tip of Delaware County. Chester is not included, but you know what? As these rain bands continue to develop and continue to push off to the north, I wouldn't be surprised to see that advisory added and expanded to areas farther north. For now, though, it's up past Wilmington, and you just saw that live here on 6 ABC. Tropical storm warning is also in effect today. Gusts up to 50 miles per hour. This has been extended down through Rehoboth Beach and Delaware. We just talked about how Lewis has seen tropical storm force winds, and that goes all the way up into New York State and up into New England today. And again, as we take a look at the wide view, you see that rain pinwheeling and getting off to the west on Future Tracker 6 by about noon, and probably then just kind of pinwheeling around, and even by 3 o'clock we are expecting more of these heavy downpours. The shore may not see as much this afternoon, but northern suburbs all the way down to Philadelphia, certainly with that possibility. And then by 6 o'clock, a few showers. But basically, as we go through the later evening hours, later afternoon and early evening hours, we are going to start to see this wind down. Should be completely dry by about 10 to midnight tonight in the northern suburbs. Gray, we'll be back at noon with a full forecast, team coverage with Karen Rogers and myself. This is an evolving situation. We'll let you know the latest rainfall amounts that come in and where we think those highlighted areas with the worst flooding are occurring.
David, a busy day in the weather department. Thank you. Let's switch now to Action News reporter Annie McCormick in North Wildwood. Annie, what is the situation where you are?
Well, great. We've been here about 45 minutes, and I can tell you that these bursts of rain have been coming through. When we first got here about 45 minutes ago, it was a heavy downpour, but then there was a break in the rain, but that is now picking back up again. Take a look at the rough surf here. We're between 3rd and 4th Avenues in North Wildwood, right across from the popular Acropolis. I also want to give you an idea of what you're going to see on the roadways around here. I'm going to throw to some video that we first got when we came in. That's in the Anglesey section of North Wildwood near the Anglesey pub between 1st and 2nd Avenues. Now, some viewers have told me that the blockades that you're seeing up there actually have been there for some time, but I can tell you that heading into North Wildwood, you are going to meet several police officers that are going to be diverting you around because there is flooding. I'm told in what are the normal areas that do flood, but still it's too much for cars to go through. Now, here at the beach, again, you can see that rough surf here picking up. Definitely not a beach day, but plenty of people coming out to take a look and see what Faye is bringing us. Now, as far as Wildwood, which is down there, we just learned that about 15 minutes ago, the George Redding Bridge actually reopened, which is good news because that was closed for most of the morning. There are parts of Rio Grande Boulevard that are still closed, also Pacific. So that's what you're going to see throughout the day are these kind of rolling road closures depending on the flooding, how long it takes to recede. It doesn't look like some of the flooding that you're seeing right now is going to recede anytime soon as long as these downpours continue to come down. I can also tell you, heading down the Garden State Parkway, you're going to have a tough time driving. We went through torrential downpours starting as early as right outside of Philadelphia on South Jersey on the AC Expressway, and then when we hit the Garden State Parkway, passing the popular exit a lot of people get off on for Shore Point 7S, that's when we really started to see the relentless rain coming down. So those are the issues you're going to have. If you thought you wanted to come down to the shore for the weekend, you might want to take a little bit of a pause and maybe head down later because these are the conditions that you're going to see. Now reporting live in North Wildwood, Annie McCormick, Channel 6 Action News. Great.
Faye certainly causing problems. Annie, thanks for the update. Let's get another live look outside from Sky 6 at the shore.com camera. This is a live look there in Ocean City, New Jersey.
Can
We'd like for you to join us for Action News at noon for complete coverage for Tropical Storm Faye. And you can always check in with 6abc.com and the 6ABC app. We now join The View, already in progress. Right now, Tropical Storm Faye is slowly making its way up the coast, drenching our area with heavy downpours. Up to 4 inches of rain is possible in South Jersey and parts of Delaware, making flash flooding a major concern. Friday afternoon, and the big story on Action News is an AccuWeather alert issued for potentially dangerous conditions created by Tropical Storm Faye. A tropical storm warning now in effect from Delaware all the way up to New England. The action cam was in Sea Isle City today along Landis Avenue. This will be a common scene along the coast in South Jersey. Flooded roads and also those flooded out sidewalks. High tide in Sea Isle will happen just after 1 o'clock this afternoon. And here's video of flooding in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, submitted by an Action News viewer. Look at this. The intersection already covered with floodwaters and plenty more rain is on the way today. Sky 6 giving us a live look there at Ocean City, New Jersey from our attheshore.com camera. There is a high risk of rip currents down at the shore. This is not the day you want to be in the water. We have team coverage of the impact of Tropical Storm Faye. Action News reporter Annie McCormick live in North Wildwood with the conditions there. But first, let's get you right to meteorologist David Murphy and Karen Rogers with more on what we can expect from this storm. We will start with David.
Very easy to see, Gray. Faye highlighted right here on satellite. There's the center of the storm just off the coast of Delaware, getting very close to Cape May and cruising its way up toward Atlantic City. It is really making a move to the north now. The forward motion has picked up to 12 miles per hour. The sustained winds have picked up as well. They were at 50. They're now up to 60 miles per hour, still below hurricane strength by quite a bit. And we are expecting this movement to the north to continue over the next several hours. It could be that the center of Tropical Storm Faye makes the coast somewhere around Atlantic City or maybe a little bit north of there. The exact point of that landfall still unclear, but you can see that the projected track does have it coming right over Atlantic City later this afternoon, north of Atlantic City in North Jersey by 8 o'clock tonight, and then early tomorrow morning as an area of low pressure moving away from New York City and up into New York State. Right now about 70 miles or so south of Atlantic City and barreling toward the north. The rain, well, that's been a problem ever since we went on the air early this morning. The center of the low down to our south, but those rain bands typically do roll over the top of that low, and that's where you tend to get the heaviest setup of rain, and that's what we got right now with a lot of orange and red showing up, moving north of Surf City now, but projecting right in through heavily populated counties like Camden, Burlington, and Gloucester counties and heading toward Philadelphia. Another band passing through the city heading toward Delaware County, and some of this rain has actually made it all the way out to Lancaster. You can see the cutoff. It just hits dry air and can't make it any farther, only going far or so far away from the center of the storm, but getting Lancaster County somewhat wet right now. And if we go in close, you also see some thunderstorms, some recent lightning strikes up here. We'll have to watch that over the next couple of hours because there's the slight risk of some severe weather in those northern areas. Flash flood warnings have been posted for the last couple of hours in Cape May County, Lewis, Delaware, and then on up the coast in toward Atlantic City, Sea Isle City covered by this, Little Egg Harbor, Surf City. These are areas that had earlier heavy rain, still looking at flooding, and an aerial advisory, a flood advisory, has been posted across most of South Jersey and Delaware, but then expanded up toward Warminster and Bucks County and Montgomery County, right about halfway through that Bucks-Montgomery County line, and then down into the southern half of Chester County, Delaware County, Philadelphia covered by this, all of Delaware. That's because the warning area earlier, which got the heavy rain, is now giving up its heavy rain into these areas, and this is prime location territory for additional flooding to begin to occur just about any time. Flash flood watch, this goes through the rest of the afternoon, could get expired earlier down the shore, but basically we're looking at flash flooding potential across the region right up until around the dinner hour or so. Now, Karen Rogers has more on where we go from here with Future Tracker 6. Karen?
That's right, Dave. You know, as Tropical Storm Faye interacts with land right in our region, it's going to lose some of its intensity. The rain bands become somewhat more disorganized, but we won't be out of the danger zone. Walking you through what we expect over the next 8 hours. This is a look at 2 o'clock. Now, the shore, you were hit early. You were hit hard with the rain. We can see we get breaks in the rain earlier in the coastline, not in the city. We still see those heavy bands lifting through, and the Lehigh Valley and the Poconos, as David mentioned, even in that area, getting some of those heavy rain bands. We advance this to 4:30 and still in the city, still north and west, getting those heavy rain bands pulling around the circulation of that tropical storm as it makes its way through our region. By 8 o'clock tonight, the heaviest is well to our north. We're calming down with the precipitation and dealing with the result of all the water. So if you are in the I-95 metro area, we're in the highest risk. We're in that risk for the flash flooding. We're continuing to see those heavy rain bands. In eastern New Jersey, we already saw gusts over 40 miles an hour. So that will continue at the shore. It is possible when the center hits land that it could spin up an isolated tornado. We've been warning that in the eastern New Jersey, and that continues to be a concern. Let's look at these wind gusts. 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, Future Tracker showing at 1:30. I want to show you this shot of the circulation. Can you see it right there at that point? This model's saying at 4:30, just south of Millville, that circulation, and the northeast quadrant there would be the highest wind gusts in Wildwood at Atlantic City at 43-mile-an-hour, 48-mile-an-hour wind gusts at 4:30. The wind starting to relax by the evening. So here's what you can expect as we look at Faye's timeline and its impacts for us. This afternoon, the heavy rain, flash flooding, those concerns continue right through the heart of the region. This evening, the heaviest rain is lifting north. The winds are subsiding, and it's actually setting us up for a pretty decent weekend as long as you like it hot. Dave will be back with the latest with Faye, the timing on that, and a look at that 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes, Gray.
Look forward to that update, Karen. Thank you so much. Let's go now to Action News reporter Annie McCormick. She's live in North Wildwood, where the flooding is leading to some road closures there. Annie, what is it like right now?
And Gray, real quick, I want to talk about the bands that Karen was just talking about. We had a break. We've been here a little bit, probably about an hour and a half. And just about 15 minutes ago, the sun was out. There was no rain. But as you can see, that rain has started yet again. A little bit of this moisture is coming off of the surf that you can see right here. Take a look at how rough it is. We're between 4th and 3rd Avenues in North Wildwood. But talking about those road closures that you just mentioned, I want to go to this video. This is what we were seeing when we first headed into North North Wildwood near the Anglesey section. You can see the flooding there. You can see that they had one of those vehicles that emergency management does use during flooding to make sure that it's high up over the water. That, of course, makes it so that if there are any people that are in danger, are flooded out in their cars, that emergency officials can get to them. But there's a lot of roadways that right now are the typical areas where you see flooding, but they're having to close them. Hopefully that water will recede and those roadways will open again. There's also video right near the Anglesey pub over there by Jersey Avenue and First Avenue. We're also seeing closures there as well and a lot of flooding in that area. A couple people telling me that those blockades are actually there anyway because of bars when they or restaurants rather when they've been open during COVID and outdoor dining as well. Now back here on the beach, it's not a beach day, not a day to go on the surf, but it is a day to take a look and take a walk and see what everyone's talking about and what Faye is bringing here to North Wildwood. Take a listen.
It's definitely not a beach day, but the kids are out having a good time. Hopefully the weather clears up in a little bit. One of my nephews is a surfer, so he was hoping that the waves will be great for surfing today.
A little dangerous, so maybe he's not going to do it today, I hope?
Not today, but hopefully by tomorrow the waves are still a little rough. The water has been real calm, so hopefully, tomorrow the waves will be rough enough for them to surf.
That we just got in from a viewer. This shows you some of the flooding that they're seeing in Wildwood. You can see people there pushing a vehicle that did go into the flood waters. We always warn you, turn around, don't drown. You don't want to try to drive through. You'd rather just park in an area and wait until that water does recede. Now, a couple things about Wildwood, which we are eventually going to head that way today after we are done the noon show. And I can tell you that the George Redding Bridge was closed for a bulk of the morning, but it did open probably about an hour and a half ago. It still could close again depending on the type of flooding that they're seeing. Parts of Rio Grande Boulevard also are dealing with some closures, but again, this is all fluid as this rain does come through. It depends on how quickly that rain comes in and how much and how short of a time. That is the type of flooding that officials are concerned about. And once you see those waters rise, they want to close those roadways to make sure that everybody is safe. So that's the latest here in North Wildwood. Annie McCormick, Channel 6 Action News. Greg.
Okay, Annie, you stay safe as well. Thank you so much for the update. We want you to keep the 6 ABC app really close today to keep an eye on Tropical Storm Faye with Storm Tracker 6 Live Radar. We will also be updating the latest advisories and warnings related to the storm as they come into our newsroom. Right now, Tropical Storm Faye is bringing heavy rains and flash flooding to some areas along the Jersey Shore. Sky 6 right now taking that live look at Long Beach Island from our AtTheShore.com camera. You can see that it's still causing some problems there. A tropical storm warning is in effect for counties along the Jersey coast as well as parts of Delaware. Meteorologist David Murphy will have an update on the storm's track and timing in just a few minutes. Meteorologist David Murphy continues to track Tropical Storm Faye. That system is bringing some heavy rain to the area. David, bring us up to date.
A tropical storm warning still in effect and will be for the rest of the afternoon, perhaps into this evening down the shore. And they added Sussex County, Delaware, and the Delaware beaches to this a few hours ago. And of course, South Jersey has been a part of it all along. Wind gusts could go as high as 50 miles per hour. Of course, if you get a sustained wind of 39 miles per hour, that's tropical storm force. And we've already recorded that in a couple of spots down in the southern tier of our viewing area. The actual movement of the storm, well, the center of it, you can sort of see all of this rain pinwheeling around it. The center is just off of Fenwick Island, Delaware, continuing to move north at about 12 miles per hour. We're getting a lull in the action. The heaviest rain, in fact, is probably over right down at the shore, but you can see these bands now pushing closer to Philadelphia and in some cases making it up into the northern and western suburbs. And as this low center moves up to the north, you're going to see that rain move north with it. And we'll continue to see that sort of counterclockwise movement of the rain bands. A real heavy one now pushing out of South Jersey and getting right into Philadelphia. So this is one of the areas underneath this orange and up here to the north and west or east of Philadelphia and down to the south where you could be seeing that flash flooding developing. Remember, these bands aren't going to last forever, but they're going to dump a lot of rain in a hurry. And we've seen some of them put down as much as 1, 2, even 3 inches of rain in a relatively short period. It's not quite as much of an issue issue up in Allentown, although some steadier cells beginning to get up that way. And there again is that lull in the action down in South Jersey. You'll still get some lighter showers at times right up to dinner time in all likelihood. And then this heavy band now really forming over the Delaware Bay and pushing down into Milford, Delaware. Future Tracker 6 shows you that between now and 2 o'clock, we're going to continue to see this rain in and around the region, most of it in the northern 2/3 of the area. By 4 o'clock, it's still there. And by 6 o'clock, the heavy stuff is beginning to move off to the north. But as I mentioned, we'll still have some lingering showers. It looks like the last of these raindrops in most neighborhoods are probably done between 9 and maybe 11 o'clock tonight. Expected rainfall anywhere from 1 to 3 inches across the majority of the region. A drop off as you head out to the west, and then nothing not too far to the west. Some isolated areas could actually go 4. And down the shore, we're also looking at sustained winds, 20s and 30s, gusts higher, heavy surf and flooding. Rip currents also an issue. You can see that. And there's the slight chance of a strong gusty thunderstorm right in these areas along the eastern half of South Jersey, and an isolated tornado can't be ruled out too. Your 7-day from AccuWeather. Today's high around 80, hanging in the upper 70s most of the time. An alert for the downpours and flooding. 91 Saturday, 93 Sunday. Saturday afternoon storms in particular could be strong and gusty. Keep that in the back of your head. And then a break on Monday, 88. Another 88 Tuesday. Back into the 90s on Wednesday and Thursday. Gray?
Okay, David, thank you so much for the update. It is 12:30, and we begin with the very latest on our AccuWeather alert. Tropical Storm Faye dumping heavy rain on our region on this Friday. Shore towns were one of the areas to get hit first. Many of the roads along the coast now underwater. Strong wind gusts are also hitting the beaches. Roads are flooded in Delaware as well. This was a scene there along Airport Road just a few hours ago. Drivers were actually taking the chance and going through the rising water. That is something we say you should never do. That is not a good idea. As we always tell you, if you encounter flooded roads and walkways, please turn around. Do not drown. And let's take a live look outside. This is Philadelphia. Sky 6 showing us the scene there in Center City. You can barely see anything out there. Rain falling heavily on Center City right now and barely making out the skyline there. And another live picture. This is attheshore.com. Sky 6 there in Ocean City, New Jersey. That's a shot from our attheshore.com camera. The shore getting a little break from the rain right now. We appreciate you joining us. I'm Gray Hall. Brian Taff is off. The storm is going to stick around most of the day. We are under a flash flood watch. Our team of meteorologists, of course, tracking the storm. Karen Rogers has the latest from her home in just a moment. But first, we want to begin with meteorologist David Murphy at the Action News Big Board with an update.
Tropical Storm Faye, Gray, is continuing its march to the north, not all that far from Atlantic City. The last measurement that was taken at about 11 o'clock had it 70 miles south of AC. Now it's probably under 60 miles away, very close to Cape May, although the center of the storm staying off the coast of Cape May, moving north at about 12 miles per hour. And over the next several hours, we'll wait and see where this wants to touch land. The center of the storm could actually come ashore in the vicinity of Atlantic City a little bit later on this afternoon. That's the most likely track. It could veer a little bit to the east or west, but it does look like it's going to be very close to that, perhaps a little bit to the east of AC and coming ashore closer to Brigantine or Surf City. By Friday night, tonight, about 8 o'clock, it'll be in North Jersey, and then by tomorrow morning, all the way up into New York State, and no longer a tropical storm, just an extratropical low. You can see that band of rain coming in off the ocean really caused some problems with flooding, as we showed you down the shore earlier. Now pushing through Philadelphia and getting set to push back into some of the western suburbs. At the same time, this area of precip has a chance of making it all the way up toward Allentown, and underneath that bright yellow and orange that you see and that red, you've got the chance of some heavy downpours that could produce additional flash flooding. Also looking at the potential for some strong thunderstorms right along the coast, particularly from about AC off to the north. Getting into a little bit of a lull down the shore. It'll still be damp, but the heaviest rain is probably over there. And we have now seen the flood warnings have expired in Cape May County, southern Atlantic County, and Lewis, Delaware. We still have them in play from Little Egg Harbor up to Surf City, where the heavy rain is still trying to depart. The flood advisories down in Delaware, South Jersey, still in place all the way up through Warminster, Tredyffrin, West Bradford. It's possible that we'll see this extended if those heavy rain bands do manage to push farther to the north and west. But for now, Philadelphia, Delaware County, and about half of Chester, Bucks, Monco, and all of Mercer County and Point South. You got to be careful of some flash flooding because of that flood advisory. And that flood watch is still in effect across the region. It hasn't really expired anywhere just yet. And that means that anywhere you do get these heavy downpours, Gray, you could be be looking at water on the roads quickly rising. And as you said, we want to make sure that we stay away from those flooded roads if we're on foot or behind the wheel. All right, Karen, you're going to take us through the rest of the day. What's going to happen next with this?
Yeah, and I think that's really important, Dave, because as the storm, it's right now the center of it is east of Fenwick Island, Delaware. As it tracks even closer to our region, it interacts with land. It really changes how we're being impacted by it, but we're not out of the danger zone. So let's look at this right now. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, you see the shore is still getting a bit of break in the rain, right? I think the heaviest rain is done at the shore right now. It'll be farther inland in Philadelphia, in Trenton, in Mount Pocono. You're getting those bands of rain that are coming around with the center of this storm. The trouble is you're not out of the woods as far as the wind and the other weather threats at the shore. Let's see what happens at 4:30. You may get some showers at the shore, not bad there, but still in the city, the heavy rain bands in the Poconos as it continues to travel north. And what about later this evening? We actually begin to dry out. It's looking a lot better by 8:30, where the heaviest rain is lifting north. It's moving a good up to 12 miles an hour. So it is moving quickly through our region and moving out of here. Here's breaking it down. The I-95 metro area, we're talking about a high risk of flash flooding continuing through this afternoon. But the trouble in eastern New Jersey along the shore, you've got 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts at the shore. But once it interacts with land near the shore, the concern is it could spin up a tornado. So we saw all those people in the Sky 6 shot walking around in Ocean City. Be weather aware. Just because it's not raining, the threat isn't over. We're looking at this at 2 o'clock. 50 mile an hour wind gusts at the shore. Remember, the strongest winds are in the northeast quadrant. You see the circulation there, right? Just east of Wildwood at 2 o'clock, this model's showing. And you see those strong winds to the north and east of this. We advance this to 4:30. Even more winds continuing, traveling up the north. So the concern is by the evening, we're seeing the winds finally dive down. Let's look at the timeline of this and what you can expect. So this afternoon, the heavy rain, flash flooding continuing for the heart of our region, not the shore. But this evening, the heaviest rain lifts north and winds subside. But Gray, I hope everybody, whether at the shore where it's not raining or in the city where it's raining heavily, stays weather aware until the storm is out of here.
We hope so. It will be a busy weather day. Karen, thank you so much for the update. And as Karen and David just told us, the rain, of course, is coming in waves. So you might think that the rain is done, but that's when another wave will come again. We have live team coverage of reporters down at the shore where people are getting hit the hardest from this storm. Katie Catro live for us in Ocean City. But first, we want to go live to Annie McCormick in North Wildwood with a look at the conditions there. Annie, what's the latest?
Yeah, Gray, I'm a little bit too close to the water. Just got a big gush of surf that came up here on the beach here in North Wildwood. We're between 3rd Avenue and 4th Avenue. And Karen was just talking about the winds. When we initially came into North Wildwood, we saw a torrential downpour, a downpour that we were also seeing on the majority of our time on the Garden State Parkway. Now, it's not a downpour. However, the light rain that we do have is really being picked up and pelting people because of those wind gusts that are coming through. But take a look at the surf that we're seeing here in North Wildwood. Definitely not the surf that you want to go out in. We actually don't even see, we've seen lifeguards patrolling around here, walking up and down to make sure that people aren't going in here, aren't jumping in to try to go surfing or anything of that nature. Take a look at what we were seeing when we initially came into North Wildwood to the Anglesey section of North Wildwood. That's where we saw a number of road closures. We saw police diverting traffic for around the roads that they had to close because of the heavy flooding. Also saw some of those vehicles that they pull out when we are seeing flooding, those emergency vehicles that have the height so they're able to drive through the flooding and make sure that they can help guide people out of it, rescue people. We haven't heard of any major rescues, though, happening around the area this morning. Then we were around Anglesey, near the Anglesey Pub, New Jersey Avenue, of course, areas that do normally flood, but they're asking people just to be careful, drive around, or just follow the detours that they have put up. Also, what we're seeing are people who are down here enjoying themselves at the shore that maybe can't have a beach day today, but they're making it a different beach day. They just want to see what Tropical Storm Faye is bringing here to North Wildwood. Take a listen.
It's definitely not a beach day, but the kids are out having a good time. Hopefully the weather clears up in a little bit. One of my nephews is a surfer, so he was hoping that the waves will be great for surfing today.
Little dangerous, so maybe he's not going to do it today, I hope?
Not today, but hopefully by tomorrow the waves are still a little rough. The water has been real calm, so hopefully, tomorrow the waves will be rough enough for them to surf.
Yeah, just to reiterate, no surfing today. I don't want to get in trouble with the North Wildwood Beach Patrols. We're talking to people about that. Now, as for Wildwood, which we're eventually going to head over to, they're also having issues with flooding. Part of the reason that they're having issues with flooding isn't just because of the flash flooding and the heavy downpours that came in real quickly. It's also because that they have a pump broken right now, but crews, we were told, are on the scene working to fix that as well. The George Redding Bridge was back open. It was closed for a bulk of the morning, so that's good news, but still parts of Rio Grande Boulevard are also closed right now. All of this is fluid though, so just when you're driving, pay attention, listen to the police. They're out there just to make sure that you are driving around all the dangerous areas and you are safe. For now, reporting live in North Wildwood, Annie McCormick, Channel 6 Action News. Great.
People should not be in the water today. Annie, thanks for the update. We switch now to Action News reporter Katie Catro. She's live in Ocean City with the latest on what she's seeing there. Katie, bring us up to speed.
Ray, we're here at East 9th Street, and I want to talk about those bands coming through because it was raining earlier. Now it has stopped, but there are heavy winds out here, and also street flooding continues. We're right in front of a mini golf course here where you can see the street is flooded here, although we have seen the water receding. And if I point you over to the left, you can probably see this car about to possibly make it through, or either it looks like he's going to do the right thing. He's going to turn into this parking lot here. I want to show you the flooding that we've seen all around Ocean City today. The Action News van drove through almost zero visibility conditions on the Atlantic City Expressway as rain pounded down on our windshield. Once we arrived to Ocean City, we saw roads turned into rivers, flooding at 9th and Central. And at 10th and Haven, we saw some cars trying their luck by driving through, while others turned around, heeding the warning from officials. Nikki Newton says driving conditions were terrible from Tuckahoe to Ocean City.
The roads are really bad. It took me about a half an hour to get here, usually 15 minutes.
She says she didn't expect the torrential downpour or the heavy winds.
I had no idea. I woke up this morning. I honestly had no idea.
This is what residents woke up to this morning along Ocean City's boardwalk, many preparing for the worst.
We cleared our deck and put the plants away and so things don't blow.
And back out here live again, you can see this road turned into a river out here. Although the good news, Gray, is that we have seen the water slowly receding. There is still a flash flood warning for Cape May counties in effect until 1 p.m. Reporting live in Ocean City, Katie Catro, Channel 6 Action News.
Let's get you live outside. Sky 6 HD showing you Long Beach Island. Blue skies there right now. Really different picture from hours ago. Meteorologist David Murphy has an update on Tropical Storm Faye in just a minute. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is a live look there at theshore.com. Camera in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where you can see the skies are gray. It's gloomy out there, all because of Tropical Storm Faye. Our team of meteorologists have been keeping an eye on this system. They will be doing that for all day long, giving you the latest on what's going to happen, what you can expect, and when the rain may hit your area. And also, remember, as you see the water starting to build up on the roadways, please don't drive with that water. Turn around. Do not drown. Of course, the big concern with the storm is flash flooding. This was a scene right there along 46th Street there in Sea Isle City. Many roads at the shore saw flooding pretty early this morning, and of course the rain continues. Right now, Tropical Storm Faye is bringing heavy rains and flash flooding to some areas. Take a look at this. Sky 6 right now giving you that live look there along the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. Philadelphia getting hit pretty hard with that rain right now from Tropical Storm Faye. Of course, a tropical storm warning is in effect for counties along the Jersey coast as well as parts of Delaware. Meteorologist David Murphy will have an update on the storm's track when we see you back here after the break. Time now for another check of the forecast as the rain continues to fall. Let's get you live outside. Sky 6 right now there down the shore at theshore.com camera, Sea Isle City. And you can see there the surf is still rough out there because of Faye. Meteorologist David Murphy is in the Action News Weather Center right now with an update. David.
The latest numbers from the Weather Service and from the Storm Prediction Center and actually the National Hurricane Center came in at 11 o'clock. So these numbers I'm showing you are sort of a snapshot from 11. The next update is a few hours down the road, but it is moving now with 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's the strongest we've seen, Faye. It'll stay a tropical storm. It's not going to be a hurricane. The movement still picking up a little bit at 12 miles per hour, might even be up to maybe 13 now. And this 70 miles from the southern edge of Atlantic City, that's actually probably more like 50 miles away right now. And it does look like this track is going to go very close to AC or maybe a little up to the north of it. And then you can see it maintains later tonight as a tropical storm before devolving, if you will, to a low pressure center up in New York State by Saturday morning. But it's right in here, of course, that is our concern. And we are still with that storm right on the doorstep, looking at some heavy rain bands popping in from the ocean. A little bit of a lull now as the energy from this storm, which tends to be a little north and over toward the west of the storm center, is now pushing through Philadelphia. Lots of heavy rain in through the immediate region. Philadelphia, Chester, Wilmington picking this up right now. Trenton still sees some of it. And then the northern and western suburbs starting to get a little bit steadier rain as well. And it's possible that some of what you see here will transfer farther to the west and farther to the north before it's done. Eventually, all this will kind of spin up and wrap away to the north. Closer view down south, we have had some heavy rain that's been popping into areas near Dover, Delaware. A lot of this falling right now over the Delaware Bay. But this is Salem County and northern Cumberland County. These are two areas definitely getting hit. So is Gloucester County, at least the northern half of it. And again, the center of the storm, you can really see it on satellite, not all that far off the coast from Cape May, and still pushing north more or less in the direction of Atlantic City. Future Tracker 6 shows you that between now and 3 o'clock, we're probably still looking at some inundating rainfall in at least parts of the region. Some heavy downpours that could produce flash flooding. We've already seen some of that in parts of South Jersey and in other parts of Jersey. Philadelphia certainly seeing some of that situation where you're driving down the road and suddenly it's just whoosh on both sides of the car. We really want you to avoid any flooded roads today because of the threat of that water rising quickly. By 6 o'clock, you're still seeing some heavy downpours, but then we get up to 10 o'clock and things are improving at that point. And there is that chance of a severe storm, too, over to the east, right along the coast of South Jersey, a slight chance of an isolated tornado as well. Your exclusive AccuWeather 7-day. AccuWeather alert today for the downpours and the flooding, which is still happening in parts of the region, a high of 80. Then 91 tomorrow, humid, and be cautious about thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. It won't be related to Faye, but strong storms are possible. 93 with a spotty storm Sunday, and then it's 88 Monday, 90 Tuesday, 91 Wednesday, and up to 95 a steamy Thursday, Gray.
Okay, David, thank you so much for the update. Sky 6 HD is getting you live right there. That's a live look over the Philadelphia International Airport. You can see the rain is still coming down. It's gloomy and gray out there, all a result of Tropical Storm Faye. Let's get you one last check of the forecast with meteorologist David Murphy.
Gray, I'd like to show you the wide view on satellite and radar, too. You can really see the center of that storm system getting very close to the southern tip of South Jersey. It looks like it'll stay off the coast of Cape May County, but probably come ashore somewhere in the vicinity of AC in the next few hours, perhaps a little north of Atlantic City along the Jersey coast. And of course, Future Tracker 6 showing you that heavy band of rain that's really popping through areas close to Philadelphia. It looks like we'll see more of this up through 2:30 and 3 o'clock. The shore probably has seen the end of the worst of it, and some of the earlier flood warnings have expired there. But don't be surprised if we see more of those flood warnings farther inland right up until about dinner time. Turn around, don't drown if you're walking or driving and you encounter a flooded area, Gray. Good afternoon, everyone. David Murphy here with an update from AccuWeather on Tropical Storm Faye. The latest numbers from the Hurricane Prediction Center, 60-mile-per-hour winds with this storm. It is getting very close to Cape May, New Jersey. We'll probably stay off the coast of Cape May, but we are expecting it to contact the Jersey Shore, somewhere likely north of Atlantic City over the next 2 or 3 hours. The movement has picked up a little bit, 12 miles per hour now, the forward motion. And again, this is the update as of 11 o'clock. These numbers may have changed a little bit. I do think this is a lot closer than 70 miles to Atlantic City, probably more like 50 or less, and that forward movement may also be improving a little bit. As we look forward to this, it looks like a tropical storm coming ashore, probably still a tropical storm by 8 o'clock tonight, and then eventually devolving into an extratropical low. And you can see how the forward motion is going to really pick up. By Saturday morning, it'll be well up into New York State as that low pressure center. We're still looking at heavy rain bands as expected. The early rain bands were down the shore earlier this morning. Now they've kind of transitioned into the center of the region. And for the rest of the next 2, 3, 4 hours. We'll continue to see this migrate farther to the west and farther to the north. If you're out in Reading, you've had some bands of heavy rain. There's probably going to be some more making it up in your direction. Allentown could see some of this as well. Trenton looks like it's about ready to get out from underneath this, but keep in mind that once that heavy band moves past you, you still have the potential of some runoff, creating some flooding that may be beginning underneath that heavy band, but then continuing afterwards. And right now, Springfield, Delaware County getting hammered with that. Lower Marion Township, Chester, looks like areas down around Ardencroft and Wilmington also about ready to pick up more. And there's that latest cell just leaving Trenton, but going right through the middle of Bucks County. Newtown getting hammered right now, Upper Makefield. Again, this is a heavy rain. You could be seeing a very quick 1 to 2 inches of rain and coming down in such a hurry that it piles up on those roads. And as you go farther to the west out toward Lancaster, the heavy stuff just isn't making it there, although it is getting somewhat wet out in Lancaster County. Future Tracker 6 shows you that between now and 3 o'clock, we're still expecting some of these lingering heavy cells. Some might be in and around Philadelphia and Wilmington. Down the shore, the rest of the day, it's probably just showers or at least a lighter rain at this point. By 6 o'clock, a few extra heavy downpours still possible in the center of the region. But eventually, as we get past 9, 10, and 11 o'clock, this is going to pinwheel out of here along with the center of that low pressure. We do have an aerial flood advisory. These are the areas right now that are seeing the heavy rain or that have recently seen it and could be getting runoff-related flooding. Streets and small streams could be affected by this, and this could even be extended farther to the north and west a little bit later on, should those heavy bands manage to make it farther away. But this is the real area of concern right now as we go into the afternoon over the next several hours. And remember, a flash flood watch is also in effect across the region until further notice. Just about anywhere in here, a heavy cell could open up and give you some temporary flooding. Other than that, it's windy down at the shore, obviously rough surf, some tidal-related flooding combined with the earlier rain, and be careful of a strong gusty thunderstorm right along the coast up into Ocean and Burlington County and perhaps down into Atlantic County. Any storm that forms in those areas I just mentioned could produce strong damaging wind gusts or perhaps an isolated tornado. We'll be back in an hour with an update on all of this. Stay safe out there and avoid flooded areas.
Right now, Tropical Storm Faye is bringing heavy rains and flash flooding to parts of our region. Sky 6 taking a live look at the Ben Franklin Parkway. Philadelphia has been getting hit pretty hard with rain over the past few hours. It just let up a bit, but you can see the winds there kind of whipping those flags around. The shore also hit hard this morning. Good afternoon. I'm Alicia Vitarelli. We're breaking into regular programming to bring you the very latest on this rain-soaked Friday. A tropical storm warning remains in effect for counties along the Jersey Shore, as well as parts of Delaware. Meteorologist Adam Joseph joining us now in the Action News Weather Center with an update on the storm's track. And Adam, at some points we got pummeled pretty hard.
Yeah, really, it's been a rainstorm for the most part and very little in the way of wind inland. Flash flood warning ongoing until 5 o'clock for Philadelphia County, Delaware County, parts of Montgomery, Chester County, straight through Salem and Gloucester, as well as Camden County and even northern parts of Delaware. That means that we are experiencing high waters in that area, so careful driving around through the 5 o'clock hour. And the same for the shore towns around Surf City, Long Beach Island, and parts of southern Burlington County. As we look at the radar, light rain right now as you get into South Jersey. This storm was really a front-end rainstorm, meaning the heaviest of the rain came in before the center of the low pushes inland. So all of that torrential rain right now is in the state of Delaware and southeastern Pennsylvania. The brighter the color, the heavier the rain, as we can see everywhere from Philadelphia as things swirl in from the east to the west. And in fact, it is just solid heavy rain through Wilmington to Newark, right along 95, the split of 295 and 495, 202, not a nice drive as you head from Wilmington north into Philadelphia. And we even had a couple of lightning strikes recently along Interstate 78. Not a lot of thunderstorms with this or severe weather. It's really just been that torrential rainfall. In fact, picking up near 4 inches of rain in Wildwood, Dover over 4 inches. That's the jackpot in the area so far. Atlantic City over 3 inches. Philadelphia almost 2.5 inches. And the farther north and west you go away from the center of Faye, far less rain, less than a half an inch in Allentown. Satellite radar this morning, that's when the shore saw the heaviest of the rain, a wind gust in Strathmere of 53 miles an hour. There you can see the circulation, and watch the center of Fay. There it goes, working toward Cape May County, and then boom, it makes a little jog to the east here. So the updated information from the National Hurricane Center as of 2 o'clock, the center of Fay is 25 miles east-southeast of Cape May, wind still 60 miles an hour, moving to the north at 12, and expected to make landfall somewhere between Brigantine and Surf City early this evening, and then it works its way over Manhattan and then falls apart into northern New England. So future tracker showing we're still dealing with pockets of moderate rain. The risk of tornadoes or severe storms is really diminished now because the center of the storm is staying farther to the east. So really it is just the rain that we have to watch as we go into the evening hours. And by 9 o'clock, just some lingering showers as everything lifts to the north. And by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, some sunshine and clouds to greet your weekend, and it just turns hot and tremendously humid for Saturday and Sunday. Alicia will continue to monitor the situation from the shore to the city up to the north and west throughout the afternoon.
All right, Adam, thank you. And as we said, the shore felt the effects of Tropical Storm Fay all morning long. Heavy rain flooded the streets along the coast, like here in Stone Harbor. These images here sent in by an Action News viewer. And as Adam just said, at this hour, the heaviest of the rain has moved away from the shore. Action News reporter Maggie Kent joining us live in Atlantic City to show us the conditions there at the moment. And it did let up a bit, Maggie.
It did let up a bit, Alicia. What we're experiencing right now is high winds. I went the 6 ABC hat because I was afraid I was going to lose it. Regretting that right now. I want to give you a live look at the boardwalk. Not many people out here, understandably so. What we're experiencing right now are those bands of rain that Adam was mentioning and those high winds. It's coming and going. Right now, not raining so heavily at the moment, but we are also experiencing that tough and rough surf. The rip current warning is in effect right now. It is in red, and anybody who's coming out to the beach, out of the casinos to check it out and see what's happening, is being asked to leave by Beach Patrol. There is no swimming here today for good reason. There's no lifeguards out on the boardwalk. What we're seeing and experiencing right now is a lot of those high winds. Unfortunately, a lot of the businesses here in New Jersey, especially with dining, all of it is outdoor dining, so they're going to be missing out on a possibly or potential Good Friday for business because obviously no outdoor dining right now. Take a look at the beach. You can see those white caps. The water is very rough right now. Nobody out on the sand. A couple of people out here taking a look at what we're experiencing right now, taking a few photos, but other than that, no swimming. You want to stay safe and just be careful out here because the winds are very high and feels like they're continuing to climb. We're live in Atlantic City. Maggie Kent, Channel 6, Action News. Alicia.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Of course, we'll continue to follow the latest on Tropical Storm Fay all afternoon here on Action News. We'll be back in an hour with another update, and you can always get those updates online at 6abc.com, also on your phone on our 6ABC app. We send you back to regular programming already in progress.
Right now, Tropical Storm Fay is still dropping rain on parts of our region, leaving many roads flooded. This was the scene along the Ben Franklin Parkway earlier today. Philadelphia got hit pretty hard with rain over the past few hours, but the intense rain has now let up in the city.
And Sky 6 Live showing us the soggy scene from the Ocean City Boardwalk. This is our attheshore.com camera. Few folks here on the boardwalk right now. Despite the weather, the shore was soaked early this morning with that torrential rain. It's kind of subsided there now, but as you can see, they're still dealing with strong winds along the coast. Good afternoon. I'm Rick Williams along with Shari Williams. We are breaking into regular programming this afternoon to bring you the very latest on the tropical storm.
Meteorologist Adam Joseph joining us as well in the Action News Weather Center with the latest on this storm's track, Adam.
Yeah, the storm is just off the coast of Stone Harbor and Wildwood by about 25 miles to the southeast, the center of the storm. But the heaviest of the rain has been displaced with the storm the entire event. This morning it was in South Jersey, and now it is in southeastern Pennsylvania up in the Lehigh Valley, where really was a front end hit of that very heavy rainfall. And as you can see, we're still seeing that east to west movement of of the showers and some heavier downpours now through Camden and Gloucester County, Salem County. In Newcastle County, finally, we're starting to lessen the intensity of that rain for Newark and Wilmington. Philadelphia, there you can see some breaks developing, but every now and then you still get hit by a rain shower. And then it's a solid area of steady heavy rain. Upper Bucks, Montgomery, Berks County. Lehigh Valley hasn't seen a lot of rain today, but now you're starting to see some of those bands, those heavier rain bands coming in, and really no lightning or thunder or severe storms with this particular system today. It's really just been that tropical rain coming in from the east to the west, 222, the northeast extension, really a wet drive at this time. Flash flood warning ongoing through 5 o'clock for really the heart of the Delaware Valley around Philadelphia, Delaware County, parts of Chester, Montgomery County, and that goes down to Middletown and also northern parts of Cumberland County. The Frankfort and the Pennypack Creek are now in flood stage, and also some flood warning ongoing for northern parts of Ocean County going into Monmouth County. Rainfall totals really impressive, between 3 and 4 inches through most of South Jersey, pressing 4.5 inches for Dover, Philadelphia, 2 3/4 of an inch of rain, and now right around a 1/2 inch Lancaster, Reading, up into Allentown. Storm Tracker 6 live. We can actually put streamlines on here to show the wind structure with this storm, and as you can see, not much happening at Atlantic City, Seattle City, down to Cape May, but there's the center of Faye, and this is not like a typical tropical storm where you usually have the most intense winds and rain and thunderstorms wrapping around the center. There's nothing there. This is acting more like a coastal storm than a tropical storm. You would think the winds would be howling along the shore, but it's really not the case. The winds haven't been all that bad. We still have an onshore wind Atlantic City to the north, but there you can see those winds now switching from the west, from Cape May, Seattle City up to Ocean City. So now we have a land breeze, so you're not getting that piling up of the water or large waves like we did earlier. Here's the latest: 60-mile-an-hour winds, 25 miles east-southeast of Cape May, looking to make landfall in the next couple of hours somewhere near Brigantine up towards Surf City, and then it'll lift its way up into New York and New England. So we'll see that rain ongoing through 5 o'clock as it gets scattered, and then everything starts to lift away as we go into the latter part of the evening hours. And we'll have much more coming up on Action News at 4. Rick with that 7-day 2.
All right, Adam, thank you. Action News reporter Jacqueline Lee is live in Burlington County right now with the latest on the conditions there. Jacqueline.
Hey, Rick. Well, we're off of Burlington Pike at one of the entrances to Rancocas Creek behind me. Now, 30 minutes ago, it was pouring rain, so all of the water from the creek overflowed into this parking area. Over here, you can see some of the water still left behind. It was about several inches. It covered this whole area. But since the rain let up, that water has receded. Now, today we drove throughout Burlington County. We didn't really see much flooding, but we definitely did see some ponding. And an official in Moorestown told me there was a tree down temporarily blocking traffic. Now, I did speak with officials at the Burlington County Office of Emergency Management. They said one of their main concerns is the speed of the storm. If the storm hangs around, that's when you get more water. And if there are torrential downpours, the drains can't necessarily handle that much water at once. But overall, though, officials say they have been in touch with the 40 municipalities. Those municipalities have not asked for extra assistance, and they said they're really just monitoring everything right now. But officials do want to remind everyone to, of course, stay inside. And if you're walking or driving, do not go into a puddle because it could be a lot deeper than you anticipated. So that's the latest here in Beverly. Jacqueline Lee, Channel 6 Action News. Shari.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you. Let's go live now to Action News reporter Katie Catro, also in New Jersey, live down at the shore in Ocean City. Katie, what's the situation there?
Well, Shari, the rain and wind has died down, but we can still feel a mist coming off of the ocean. And Ocean City Beach Patrol is warning that you cannot get inside the water because this ocean is unpredictable and violent, they say. But a lot of people have been coming up to take pictures of the waves, and that's okay. Just make sure that you put your mask on if you do come out and you can't social distance, because there are a lot of people out on the boardwalk. As you can see, you wouldn't have even known that a storm came through here earlier today by the amount of people out here. And a lot of businesses, as you can see along the boardwalk, are open. This weather is not helping those businesses, but it is something for them that at least people are coming out here and taking advantage of
the rain that has died down for right now. That's the very latest in Ocean City, where I'm reporting live. Katie Castro, Channel 6 Action News. Shari.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. Of course, we will continue to follow the latest on Tropical Storm Faye and bring you the very latest coming up on Action News at 4.
You can also get updates right now online at 6abc.com and also on your phone on our 6ABC app. That's going to do it for now. We'll send you back to regular programming already in progress here on 6ABC. Have a good afternoon.
Now at 4 o'clock, an AccuWeather alert as we are feeling the effects of Tropical Storm Faye. Sheets of rain are hovering throughout the region with gusty winds along the shore. The storm is moving north, leading to flash flooding and also some road closures. Friday afternoon, I'm Shari Williams.
And I'm Rick Williams. Brian and Jeanette are off. And the big story on Action News is Tropical Storm Faye hitting our area, bringing hours of wind and rain with her. Sky 6 looking live right now at the Ben Franklin Parkway in Center City, where the rain is falling. Fortunately, not a lot of traffic or pedestrians out there right now. From the Jersey Shore to the Philadelphia suburbs, Action News has team coverage this afternoon.
Our reporters are spread out around the area, but first we head to the Weather Center where meteorologists Adam Joseph and Cecily Tynan have the latest forecast. And Adam, let's start with you.
Yeah, and we're dealing with that heavy rain inland. It's been displaced from the storm to the north and west. The center of the storm is near Ocean City right now, but as you can see, that rain is throughout southeastern Pennsylvania, lighter rains in parts of South Jersey and northern Delaware, but Philadelphia is seeing this little batch of yellow here. The rain was coming in from the east to the west, but now as the storm is lifting to the north, all of this has to pivot back to the south and then will lift to the north. So it's going to be some time before we see the rain end in the Delaware Valley and also the Lehigh Valley, where you can see these bands of yellow that continue to rotate in from the east here. The northeast extension, just a washout at this point in Allentown as well. And there's been wind gusts near maybe 20 miles an hour with some of these bands that far inland. But flooding has been the biggest issue with Faye. Flood warning ongoing through 5 o'clock for Philadelphia County, Delaware County, all the way down to Salem, also Newcastle County over to Pittsgrove. Turn around, don't drown. There's a lot of roads that are underwater in these regions, and also the Pennypack Creek and the Frankford Creek are out of their banks, and an ongoing flash flood warning northern parts of Ocean County into Monmouth County. And we have been walloped by rain. As expected, we've seen inches of rain, over 3 inches for most of South Jersey to the shore, nearing 5 inches for Dover. Wilmington, Philadelphia closing in on 3 inches of rain, less to the north and west, but still a healthy amount between a half an inch to an inch of rain. I bring in meteorologist Cecily Tynan to chat about what to expect as we go through the rest of the evening hours.
And Adam, I want to stress at the Jersey Shore right now, conditions are dramatically improving. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing the rain has moved out, even some areas seeing some breaks in the clouds, some breaks of blue. However, if we switch this and show the streamline, the center of Tropical Storm Faye is very close. It's right around here, just about 20 miles away from Ocean City. It's moving up to the north, but this is not a hurricane where you get the strongest winds right around the eye wall. This is a very elongated system, so the heaviest rain, the heaviest winds well in advance of the actual center of circulation. Peak wind gusts today, Strathmere 53 miles per hour, Atlantic City 44, Wildwood 43, Lewis, Delaware 49, and Brandywine School reporting a 55-mile-an-hour wind gust. Again, this was earlier today with the bands of heavy rain. Now the wind gusts generally about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So the center of that storm, Tropical Storm Faye, again just east of Ocean City, New Jersey, maximum sustained winds at 60 miles per hour. It's moving north at 12 miles per hour, so it will be making landfall very close to Atlantic City, then moving over New York City, and then up across upstate New York by tomorrow. So in its wake, tomorrow we'll just have a really humid air mass. Tonight, that rain will continue lifting up to the north. Still some possibility of additional flash flooding north and west of Philadelphia. I think right around sunset is when we'll see that steady rain out of here. Hot, very humid tomorrow. We'll talk more about that coming up in the full AccuWeather forecast. Rick?
All right, Seth, we'll check back in later. Thank you. And our team coverage continues at 4 now with Action News reporter Chad Padelli live in Darby, Delaware County. And Chad, you've seen some street flooding where you are this hour, huh?
Yeah, Rick, I got a couple cars passing by here. Delaware County emergency management officials tell us that the areas that are flooding in the county are those that are usually prone to flooding. When we got here on Bartram Avenue about an hour ago, the floodwaters were much greater than this. Then the water receded, and as the rains have picked up, you can see the flooding is continuing once again. As drains clogged and the heavy rain hit, University Avenue flooded at the westbound entrance to the Schuylkill Expressway.
But everybody was making it. So I was like, okay, and I just tried to plow through it, and I got as far as there, and I got stuck. The water started rising really fast.
Damie Arkin's car stalled as she tried to make it through the floodwaters.
I called 911, and they were excellent. They came right out.
She ended up walking out of her vehicle and chuckled a bit about the ordeal.
Moral of the story, don't do what I did. Don't go through the water. If census tell you not to do it, don't do it.
Delaware County Emergency Management says minor flooding occurred at the typical spots. 291 was shut down in both directions between Sea Knight Avenue and Stewart Avenue. Up in Elkins Park on Coventry Avenue, Erwin Ochavia has been watching the rain and, more importantly, this drain.
Drain clogged, and then we have videos that the water came up almost to here.
His home and his neighbors flooded earlier this week after a runoff from a construction site clogged the drains on his street. He had to rip out a foot of his basement wall, and bags of belongings are now trash.
Can't get a break. I mean, it's just, Mother Nature, just when they struck, there's nothing you can do, just pray, I guess.
And when roads flood, we hear it so often, do not drive through it. Also, be careful getting out of your car. What that woman did calling 911 was the right thing to do, because storm drains can come off, and that can be a deadly situation. I'm live in Darby Township. Chad Perdelli, Channel 6 Action News.
Yeah, can't catch a break, as that one gentleman said. All right, Chad, thank you. The shore was hit pretty hard this morning. Action News reporter Annie McCormick is supposed to be here for us live. We may have an issue with her shot. Oh, here she is in North Wildwood. Annie, the street flooding and the rough surf is, though, starting to calm down there. People trying to enjoy their day somehow.
And Shari, I was just about to tell you that rainfall, that steady rainfall that we saw for most of the morning has subsided now for several hours. But now there's a little cloud that's over us that's sprinkling a little bit more rain. But aside from that, the day has actually turned out to be pretty beautiful. And people out here on the beach didn't want to let a potential beach day go to waste. But take a look at how majority of the morning looked down here. Torrential downpours hovered over the Jersey Shore this morning. The rain affected visibility on the Garden State Parkway for drivers. Entering North Wildwood, drivers were met with road closures due to flooding. From Sea Isle to Avalon to Stone Harbor, flash floods caused issues all morning. In Wildwood, near Pine Avenue and Park Boulevard, Good Samaritans helped push this car to safety. And on the beach in North Wildwood, this is the closest that you want to get to the surf today because those rip currents are really strong.
It's definitely not a beach day, but the kids are out having a good time. Hopefully the weather clears up in a little bit.
Lifeguards patrolled the water, warning swimmers to stay out. The effects of Tropical Storm Faye brought some outside just to see the power of Mother Nature. By the afternoon, the Wildwood Boardwalk began to see some signs of activity, even though the sun did not make an appearance until late in the day.
It was a drag, but still have a good time down here. Hang out with your family.
Yeah, there's nothing to do. We've been sitting in bed all day and we decided to come out and get some Sam's, but it's still raining.
Yeah, there's still a cloud cover over here, but for me, this is a perfect day to sit out on the beach with that cloud cover. And as you can see, people are now enjoying themselves, but do not go into the water. That is something that all of the Wildwoods all the lifeguards of all the Wildwoods want people to know, because those rip currents are still strong. For now, reporting live in North Wildwood, Annie McCormick, Channel 6 Action News.
All right, Annie, thank you. Let's turn now to Action News reporter Maggie Kent, who's live with a look at the conditions in Atlantic City this afternoon. Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Rick, I shed the jacket from the 2 o'clock hit. 4 o'clock, feeling much better, actually a little humid, much warmer out here, much less windy. Take a look. There's actually a couple having a little late lunch on the boardwalk right now, sitting on the bench. That would not have happened just a few hours ago. It looked much different here, much, much worse. Tropical Storm Faye bringing with her rough surf, whitecaps battering down on the beach, rip current warnings, and an overall poor day for Atlantic City.
I know a Faye. I don't think I like her.
The beaches are deserted as dangerous surf has beach patrol booting onlookers off the sand.
It was pouring in the morning, and we walked out into the beach, and a girl on the four-wheeler came by and kicked us off.
This morning, emergency alert messages warning of flash flooding sounded.
Our phones were blowing up all day. We were getting all sorts of notifications.
The powerful storm on the coast, an exciting sight for these kids from Pittsburgh.
It's very windy and it feels like it's about to wipe me off my feet.
They won't be gambling against Mother Nature today.
It's very, very windy and it looks like it's flooded over there, so there is no chance of going to the beach.
Okay, and it seems like the worst of it is over now. Here on the beach, a live look. That rip current, as Annie mentioned, still very strong here in Atlantic City. This is not a day where you want to get inside the water because it is extremely dangerous, but people are here walking along the beach just to take a look at what Mother Nature can do here. It is very beautiful, but again, very dangerous. Stay on the shore tonight. We're live in Atlantic City. Maggie Kent, Channel 6 Action News.
Okay, Maggie, thank you. Let's head a bit further south and give you the view of how things were this morning in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Rough surf battered the shoreline and the red flags were out there, warning people to not get into the ocean. A few people braved those conditions, though, standing safely on the sand to take a nice photo.
And as Faye continues to batter our area, keep the 6 ABC app handy. You'll be able to keep an eye on Storm Tracker 6 live radar and the hourly conditions. You'll also find updated forecasts from our team of meteorologists. In the meantime, let's get a check of our Action News traffic report for your Friday afternoon as flash flooding causing a number of closures in the area. Matt Pellman is keeping tabs on everything from home, and it is TGIF, but boy, oh boy, it's a wild ride tonight, Matt, huh?
Yeah, to say it's an unpleasant ride into the weekend, I think is being generous, Rick. We've got a bunch of very big problems out there on a Friday afternoon. Let's hit the roads. I-95 northbound side. It's an overturned tractor trailer here just north of Cotman Avenue. You can see the 3 right lanes shut down. That means just 1 lane getting by on 95 northbound. That's not the recipe for a good afternoon commute. See the rain still falling in the big jam here on the northbound side. Basically the whole way from Center City up to past Cotman as you head toward Woodhaven Road. Southbound jams as well. That's because of the ongoing construction there by Bridge Street. Here's the Blue Route 476. They're getting this overturned truck pushed off to the ramp here at Chemical Road. It's the ramp to the southbound side, so they just got all 3 lanes open, but it's still parked coming out of the Mid-County Toll Plaza here in Plymouth Meeting on the southbound side of 476, the Blue Route. We had accidents on the northbound side as well, here just north of the Schuylkill. Just cleared a couple minutes ago, but delays still spill back toward Villanova, toward Route 30, and those delays are spilling back onto the Schuylkill Expressway, especially impacting the westbound side. Check out the travel time, 1 hour and 15 minutes to get west from the Vine out to the Blue Route because of the Blue Route issues. We've got issues on the Northeast Extension. Also had a crash in Delaware on the southbound side of 1. That just cleared, but still slow coming away from I-95. We'll check it again, Shari, and there's lots to check in the next half hour.
All right, we'll be waiting for that then. Matt, thank you. Let's get back to our big story today, that AccuWeather alert and this tropical storm that's been battering our region, Adam.
Yeah, and a lot of it in the form of heavy rainfall, but we're starting to see improving conditions at the shore. You can see breaks of blue off the coast there. In Seattle City, you got some folks on the promenade. You got a few folks there right along the water's edge taking a look at the waters that have been churned up today. But again, rain was the biggest concern with Faye. And as we take a look at Storm Tracker 6 live, the shore not seeing any action right now. The center of the storm just about to pass by Atlantic City and Brigantine. But inland is where we're still seeing that steady rainfall here in the heart of the Delaware Valley, down from Philadelphia to Wilmington, Glassboro, as well as Salem and Gloucester County and parts of Camden County, Delaware County, all in green with a little bit of yellow there. And also along Route 100, the Northeast Extension, the Lehigh Valley, you can see some of these pockets of yellow and oranges, which is some of that really heavy tropical rain that continues to push in from the east. So we'll see the rainfall rates really start to drop off and the radar dry up over the next several hours as everything lifts to the north. We've had a couple of creek issues, but overall not too bad. The Christina River, minor flooding with it cresting 1 foot above its flood stage at 7 o'clock tonight at Cooch's Bridge. Again, that flood warning for the next several hours. Temperatures have stayed in the 70s today, but it's been a muggy tropical 70 or so degrees. 74 Philadelphia right now, 72 Reading, 73 in Allentown, mid-70s at the shore, and that ocean temperature very mild at 76. Again, winds really not a big concern today and will not be a big concern as the center of the storm makes landfall. 15 miles an hour right now in Atlantic City, Cape May, 18 Millville, Wilmington down to Dover, 10 in Philadelphia, and only 9 in Reading. Satellite and radar, there's the center of Faye, which again is right near Atlantic City and Brigantine right now. And unlike most tropical systems, typically you have the strongest winds and the wrapping rain bands around the center of the storm, and it's absent with this particular feature. All the rain displaced and elongated to the north part of the storm. So at 9 o'clock tonight, the radar again fading with its green. So yes, we can finally dry out here for our Friday night. And as we wake up tomorrow morning, it will be tremendously humid tomorrow with all of this moisture in the ground as that sun tries to radiate it out of the soil. We'll feel it. 78 degrees tomorrow morning in Philadelphia, near 80 at the shore. And tomorrow afternoon, there's a little ripple of energy. So watch for a storm to spark in spots away from the shore, mainly inland tomorrow. But that heat is on. It is going to feel like 90 or so by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, 95, 1 o'clock, 95 going into the afternoon. And again, you only get a break in the heat if you're under one of those downpours or storms in the afternoon. The 4-day 4 forecast, 91 tomorrow. Again, those pop-ups, and then a heat index in the mid-90s, no storm chance on Sunday. Very uncomfortable at 93. Monday, we step it down because a little more cloud cover, warm, muggy, 89 with some thunderstorms in the afternoon. Touch less humid behind it Tuesday, 88, but then the heat will be back as we get into the middle and the end of next week. More in the 7-day coming up in the next half hour.
But we begin with that AccuWeather alert. Tropical Storm Faye will soon be heading out, but it's not quite finished with our region just yet.
Yeah, hours of heavy rain has pushed swollen waterways to the brink in parts of the Delaware Valley, prompting those flash flood warnings.
The system already led to flooding down at the Jersey Shore. In Wildwood, the rain turned the intersection of Pine Avenue and Park Boulevard into a lake, stranding one driver. Fortunately, some good Samaritans helped to push the water out, or push the car out of the water.
Yeah, it was a similar situation in Ocean City. Roads were underwater near the boardwalk following several inches of rain from Faye. For more on where the storm is now and how much more rain we can expect, let's get right over to meteorologist Adam Joseph.
Yeah, the storm is hugging the coast right now, very close to Ocean City as well as Atlantic City and Brigantine, the center of the storm, moving to the north at 12 miles an hour. This was the update as of 2 o'clock, still waiting for the fresh update from the National Hurricane Center. Winds were near 60 miles an hour, but that was well off the coast. We saw some winds near 40 to 50 plus miles an hour early this morning along the New Jersey shoreline, but then it will work its way inland into North Jersey, over New York City, and then into northern New England as we go into the early morning hours of Saturday. But a lot of rain in the rain gauges. We've been saying we need some rain around here. The grass turning brown. This was a little too much. 3 inches now in Philadelphia, closing in on 3 inches in Wilmington, nearly 5 in Dover. All of the shore and most of South Jersey between 3 and 3.5 inches of rainfall. And then it drops off as you go to the north and west as you are displaced farther away from the center of the storm, but still a healthy 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain for Lancaster, Reading, up into the Lehigh Valley. We are experiencing some moderate flooding along the Chester Creek in Chester, cresting just about now at 11.4 feet, so several feet above its flood stage of 8 feet. And rain is still ongoing for Wilmington, Philadelphia, all the way to the north and west, as you can still see some of these yellows in here. No lightning, no severe storms, but it's a light to moderate, at times heavy rain, and it's going to be a few more hours before we can lift everything away. But then it sets up for a very hot, steamy weekend. All those details coming up in just a little bit, Chart.
We just cannot escape the summer-like conditions.
No,
okay.
Comfortable.
All right, Adam, thank you. Though the shore bore the brunt of Faye earlier this morning, people also felt the effects inland. Action News reporter Jacqueline Lee live for us now in Beverly, New Jersey, with a look at how the storm impacted Burlington County. Jacqueline.
Well, Shari, it just started misting, but this really pales into comparison into how strong the rain was earlier. So behind me, the creek, the rain was so strong that it actually caused the water to overflow here. You can see some of the remainders left behind, just a few inches. But because the rain stopped, then the water then receded back into the creek. But the good news is overall in Burlington County, it didn't seem to be hit too hard by Tropical Storm Faye. As townships in Burlington County found themselves drenched by Tropical Storm Faye Friday afternoon.
I thought it would be a little bit lighter. I'm coming down one of the streets and it's like already flooded. And I didn't realize how it was, so I kind of like hydroplaned a little bit.
It's windy, it's warm, it's a little cold. I mean, you're getting it all right here.
Officials with the Burlington County Office of Emergency Management spent the day monitoring the storm, assessing the dams to the north and south, and keeping in touch with the 40 municipalities within the region, ready to provide assistance if necessary.
One of our main concerns is obviously the speed of the storm. The longer it hangs over the area, the more water. When you start getting torrential downpours.
As rain bands move throughout the region, causing rain to pick up at times. Some people welcomed it.
It's needed. Everything's been dry for so long that we need a good rain.
But in the event that officials need to conduct emergency flooding evacuations, COVID-19 has complicated things.
So if we have individuals who are either positive or symptomatic towards COVID-19, we're probably going to have to find special areas that we would have to isolate them. And remember, we still have to follow the restrictions of indoor, of how many people are allowed to be maintained in a building at one time.
Officials in Moorestown and Cinnamon-Sin say they have and continue to do storm preparations, like cleaning out storm drains and getting vehicles ready should there be any severe damage. And officials, of course, do want to remind you to not walk or drive through puddles because they could be a lot deeper than you think. That's the latest here in Beverly. Jacqueline Lee, Channel 6 Action News. Rick.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you. All that rain is sure to be impacting roads throughout the region, so let's get another check on the travel situation tonight. Matt Pellman live at home with an update. Hey, Matt.
It sure has been, Rick. You're better off swimming or maybe kayaking home on this Friday evening. It's been a mess out there, and it's led to a lot of accidents. But we're starting to make some progress here on 95 north of Cotman Avenue. Our overturned tractor trailer appears to have just cleared out. All lanes opening up as we speak. Delay is not gone. And as you can see on this shot just a little farther south, the rain continues to fall. We're still looking at really heavy northbound traffic coming out of Center City. In fact, a 55-minute travel time is about a 40-minute delay on the northbound side from the Vine up to Woodhaven Road. You're doing a little better on the southbound side at 22 minutes, just slowed a little by that work zone at Bridge Street. I mentioned last half hour some accidents on the northeast extension. The one northbound is clear if you're heading up toward the Lehigh Valley. Still one southbound between Lehigh Valley and Quakertown, giving us some restrictions. And here's 476, the Blue Route. We've made progress here as well. The truck accident at the end of the Chemical Road on-ramp to the southbound side appears to also be cleared out of the way. Had accidents here on the northbound side that are gone, but they gave us big delays that spilt back onto the Schuylkill. So still slow on the westbound side at 37 minutes, but that's better than the hour and 15 minutes we saw during the last half hour. Over in South Jersey, high water on 295, high water on 45, where they've been doing all the construction. So still a lot going on. We'll check it again, Rick, coming up in the next half hour.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Matt. And as always, you can keep track of Faye anytime by going to 6abc.com. You can find coverage of the flooding as well as the hourly forecasts and live radar updates from Storm Tracker 6. You are looking live, or at least we're trying to show you a live picture through the raindrops of Center City. Take our word for it, it is out there. Meteorologist Adam Joseph will have much more on Tropical Storm Faye and those soggy conditions. Visibility, obviously a factor, so be careful if you head out.
Okay, we just got word from the National Hurricane Center that the center of Faye has just made landfall 10 miles to the northeast of Atlantic City near Brigantine, but you wouldn't know it if you were down there. Most tropical systems, when that center makes landfall, you get the worst effects around a tropical storm, but really not much in the way of action around Faye, the center. Everything was kind of displaced ahead of the storm. And that's what prompted this flash flood warning. All the rain that we saw early on today, and still some light rain ongoing, Philadelphia to West Goshen, Wilmington, Salem to Pittsgrove until 5 o'clock. We'll see if that does get extended past the 5 o'clock hour. It's only 9 minutes from now, but up to 3 inches of rain fell across this area and a lot of street and some creek flooding. As we look at radar right now, again, the center of the storm has made landfall just now here But notice there's nothing going on along the shore at this point. Some breaks of sun, in fact, not much in the way of wind, and that rain is starting to rain itself out inland as it races its way away from the center of Fay. But still dealing with rain on top of a soaked ground here along I-95, all of Philadelphia County, Delaware County, and this system is not moving all that quickly. It's going to the north at about 12 miles an hour, so this rain will slowly lift back to the north as Fay continues to push into North Jersey. As we head to the Lehigh Valley, rounds of some moderate rainfall here, spinning its way into Berks County, but no thunderstorms, no severe storms with it. But with the heavy rain, take a look at Reading. You really can't see much. The visibility is pretty down because of that heavy rainfall. Looking from the Pagoda Cam in central Berks County, and visibility there 2.5 miles, less in Philadelphia, to Trenton 1.5 miles, and you can see the improving conditions down to the south and west as again you're seeing some breaks of sun. Temperatures stuck in the 70s all day, very muggy as well. 60s up in the Poconos, and that ocean temperature 77 degrees. There's the swirl as Fay has its way inland, and notice how bright the colors were on the radar early this morning. And as you can see, it's starting to fade and turn to green. But back to the west, we have some energy here in the Ohio Valley, and that has to come through during the day tomorrow. So tomorrow, a great pool day, a great beach day. The heat returns. Lather on the sunscreen and take some breaks, a lot of water, feeling like the mid-90s from lunchtime through the afternoon. And as that energy comes in, it could spark a scattered downpour or storm in spots tomorrow afternoon. But the heat is on for all of us, with the heat index feeling like 90 or so from the shore inland back to Reading and Lancaster. So it's a hot one everywhere. And in the Poconos, an afternoon storm of 80 degrees, very muggy on Sunday, 81. Sun and clouds, not much of a storm risk this weekend at the shore. It's more inland on Saturday, warm, muggy, 85 degrees on Sunday. But just watch the waters tomorrow. The high risk today of rip currents goes down to moderate, but still pretty dangerous since those waters are pretty churned up. Takes a little time to settle them down after a tropical system. The exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast, 90s over the weekend, tropically humid as well, feeling like the mid-90s, some scattered storms tomorrow. And then Monday, another chance for some scattered storms, back to 89 degrees, but very muggy. And then it's dry Tuesday through Friday. Tuesday, not a bad day, less humid, 88. Then we crank up the heat and humidity with a July scorcher as we get into the middle to the end of next week. So the center of Fay now on land, and the rain will start to depart over the next several hours.
All right. Thanks for the update, Adam. Friday night, the big story on Action News is this tropical system soaking the region.
And we are covering the impact of the storm on our area tonight. We have live team coverage on Tropical Storm Fay. Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson is in Delaware. Andy McCormick is in Cape May, and Katie Cacho in Ocean City for us tonight.
We have also both our meteorologists here, but let's begin with Cecily Tynan. Cecily, we know the latest advisory on this storm came out just a few minutes ago.
And Shari, the advisory showed that Tropical Storm Fay has indeed made landfall 10 miles north of Atlantic City. That's by the Absecon Wildlife Management Center. And it's packing winds, maximum sustains at 50 miles per hour. But as you look at this, you can see that this is not a typical tropical storm. This is very front loaded. It's elongated. So the heaviest rain, the highest winds, not close to the center of the storm. It's well in advance. So as it came ashore, if you were near Atlantic City, you probably really didn't feel anything at all. A little bit of a wind gust, some breaks in the clouds. It's moving north at 14 miles per hour, and it will continue that track and then start to move a little bit farther northeast. So tomorrow morning, it'll be moving across New York State and then up through New England as we head into Saturday. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing that the worst is over at the Jersey Shore. You've got a few lingering sprinkles here or there, but we do have some areas of heavy rain near Philadelphia and especially north and west. This is actually exactly what Future Tracker yesterday was showing at this hour. You can see the bands of the heavier rain are pivoting to the west and then eventually to the southwest. Philadelphia, we're experiencing moderate rain. However, there are some areas of real heavy rain up to the north. One moved through the Lehigh Valley about 10 minutes ago. It's moving into Berks County near Reading right now. It is pouring, and all this rain in a short period of time is causing some flash flooding. For more details on that, I want to bring in my colleague, meteorologist Adam Joseph.
Yeah, and Cecily, we had a flood warning until 5 o'clock for this area, but notice the map is blank, which just means, yes, the flash flood warning has expired for Philadelphia, Wilmington, down to Pitts Grove. It's still ongoing into far north Jersey, but rainfall totals very high in South Jersey. That was the area that got walloped early this morning ahead of Faye on the northern extent of it with the strongest winds. 3 to 4 inches of rain for pretty much all of South Jersey. The shore nearing 5 inches in Dover, closing in on 4 inches now for Philadelphia, 2 3/4 for Wilmington, and far less to the north and west, but still a healthy amount, over an inch for the Lehigh Valley, Berks County, and closing in on that for Lancaster. Faye's wind gusts, again, not with the center of the storm, as Cecily was mentioning. These winds came early this morning. 53-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Strathmere, Atlantic City 44, Wildwood 43, Lewis, Delaware 49, Brandywine Shoal at 55. We've seen far worse winds and thunderstorms this summer than we did today with the tropical storm. So what to expect tonight into tomorrow? The rain continues to lift and fall apart to the north. It will lessen in intensity the next couple of hours. There's still some possible flash flooding in the northwestern suburbs, but it exits the region near sunset, and then it's hot and tremendously humid tomorrow with all that water in the ground. The sun's going to try to evaporate it out, and we're going to feel like a steam bath here. We'll chat about more storm chances for the weekend. We're coming up with Cecily in a little bit.
All right. Adam, we'll check back in later. Thank you. In the meantime, let's switch over to Action News reporter Katie Castro, who is in Ocean City tonight. And Katie, flash flooding has been a big problem at the shore today, huh?
It has, Rick, but now the rain has let up, the wind has stopped, and a lot of people are coming to the boardwalk to see these waves. You can see that they are pretty strong and they have been powerful all day long. A lot of people have been coming to the boardwalk to take pictures of them. If you do come to the boardwalk, you have to put your mask on because there's a lot of people out here and you need to social distance. No beach left. Many people came out to take pictures of the waves crashing in Ocean City.
So we just thought it'd be cool to come down and see, how rough the water was, see if anything cool washed up on shore. It was actually a little bit rougher than we expected. Some getting too close, right up to the waves.
How dangerous is the water?
It's as bad as it can get at this point. I mean, it's uncontrollable. It's just an angry ocean.
Ocean City Beach Patrol is fully staffed today, making sure no one goes in the water to swim or surf.
That's not the day for it. It's just the conditions are so rough and uncontrollable. And, we're just patrolling up and down and making sure people stay on the sand.
A lot of people wearing their masks if they couldn't social distance.
Because it's still COVID-19 and I'm wearing my mask.
Driving down the shore, we had almost zero visibility as rain pounded the Action News van on the Atlantic City Expressway. Around cross streets, we saw roads turn to rivers, some cars taking their chances, driving right through, not heeding officials' warnings to turn around. Many drivers say they weren't expecting the bursts of torrential downpours and strong winds tacking time onto their drives.
The roads are really bad. It took me about a half an hour to get here, usually 15 minutes, so it's really bad out there.
And many shops on the boardwalk are really thankful that the rain has let up because they need that business for the summer. Reporting live in Ocean City, Katie Castro, Channel 6, Action News. Shari?
So true. So much ground to make up from this pandemic. Okay, Katie, thank you. In Atlantic City, the beaches and the boardwalk were mostly empty. Officials there put up signs to warn shoregoers about the rough conditions on the water. And further south in North Wildwood, residents dealt with some flash flooding. Action News reporter Annie McCormick joining us live from there now. And Annie, how are things looking for you now?
Well, Shari, this morning that rain was relentless, but it stopped around noon. And since then, the sun has been peeking out amongst dark clouds that still seem to be hovering around the beach. But still, people were not going to let a potential beach day go to waste. And now we can see the beaches here full of people sitting, trying to get a little bit of sun. Torrential downpours hovered over the Jersey Shore this morning. The rain affected visibility on the Garden State Parkway for drivers. Entering North Wildwood, drivers were met with road closures due to flooding. From Sea Isle to Avalon to Stone Harbor, flash floods caused issues all morning. In Wildwood, near Pine Avenue and Park Boulevard, Good Samaritans helped push this car to safety. And on the beach in North Wildwood, this is the closest that you want to get to the surf today because those rip currents are really strong.
It's definitely not a beach day, but the kids are out having a good time. Hopefully the weather clears up in a little bit.
It's just really unfortunate the way the weather is. I haven't been to the beach personally in 10 years.
All the sand that they just trucked in around 3 weeks ago is now all back out in the Atlantic Ocean. So, but it happens a lot every time there's a nor'easter. So they'll be trucking some in, I'm sure, either the end of the summer or next summer.
Lifeguards patrolled the water, warning swimmers to stay out. The effects of Tropical Storm Faye brought some outside just to see the power of Mother Nature. By the afternoon, the Wildwood Boardwalk began to see some signs of activity, even though the sun did not make an appearance until late in the day.
It's a drag, but still have a good time down here. You know, hang out with your family.
Yeah, there's nothing to do. We've been sitting in bed all day and we decided to come out and get some Sam's, but it's still raining.
And back out here live, even though the sun is peeking out and that rain has stopped, it doesn't mean that it is safe in the surf. You even heard Katie talking about that not too far away in Ocean City. They still want to remind people that those effects of the tropical storm are affecting the ocean, affecting rip currents. We do see lifeguards walking up and down, warning people, but still they're going in for a dip. Just be careful. For now, reporting live in North Wildwood, Annie McCormick, Channel 6 Action News. Rick.
All right, Annie, thank you. Ridley Township in Delaware County got several inches of rain this afternoon. Officials there closed off part of Route 291 between Stewart and Sea-Night Avenues because of heavy flooding.
Well, Tropical Storm Faye also brought periods of heavy rain to Center City. This is a time lapse from our Brandywine camera showing the visibility getting worse at times as the bands of rain move through. Delaware was not spared by this storm. Several areas got a few inches of rain, leaving businesses damaged. Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson live now in Wilmington with a look at the effects of Tropical Storm Faye right there. Becca.
Sorry, the sun's actually starting to come out here in Wilmington, but the damage is already done. Right behind this parking lot is the Christina River. These business owners say they've been having trouble with flooding ever since Market Street over here was raised about 6 feet, and now they're trying to pump out this water before any equipment is damaged. James Court in Wilmington is just one Delaware spot seeing flooding because of Tropical Storm Faye. The Action News camera caught this water rescue earlier on Southgate Boulevard in Newcastle. And in Rehoboth, the lifeguards shut down the beach for the day because of heavy rains and a strong rip current.
People want to get close, they want to feel the energy, but, you know, one knockdown and you're rolled out into the surf and then you're in trouble. And I've seen that happen many times where a little kid gets their feet chopped out from underneath of them.
That didn't stop tourists from coming down to check out the storm.
Just to see God's work. There's no man-made here, and this is all nature. So I just find it absolutely fascinating.
Still, the patrol captain says people are safer watching from the boardwalk, and after this storm, his real concern lies ahead with the weekend. He says while the rains may leave, the rip current will stay, and he's worried about people trying to go into the ocean to escape Saturday's expected heat.
I anticipate a lot of people and a lot of rescues if we're not paying attention.
The patrol captain says he'll make the decision in the morning whether or not to allow water access. As for the business owners here in Wilmington, they just hope this water is drained before it causes any damage to equipment in the back parking lots. Live in Wilmington, Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
All right, Becca, thank you. In Newport, Newcastle County, few drivers were out today as heavy rain moved through, leaving roads partly flooded here. Parts of the area did get several inches of rain.
Well, there are delays and detours because of the flooding throughout the area. Let's go live now to Matt Pellman in his home studio with a look now at the Action News traffic report. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Shari. Hopefully the rain isn't too loud on my metal roof here at home. Hopefully you can hear me. Let's hit the roads this afternoon. It hasn't been fun. 95 is still really wet here in the work zone by Girard Avenue. At least our overturned tractor trailer up around Cotman is cleared out of the way. Live look at the Schuylkill Expressway. It's heavy here Coming off the westbound Vine onto the westbound Schuylkill, at least the eastbound Schuylkill isn't closed. They postponed the construction closure until tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Then it will stay closed for the rest of the weekend. Travel times have improved greatly on the Schuylkill since the last half hour. That's because those accidents on the Blue Route have been cleared out of the way. Still have a broken down truck on the Ben Franklin Bridge heading into Old City. Right lane is blocked. Not a good afternoon for that. Coming off the Commodore Barry, there's a crash on 322 and police activity on 130 in Penns Grove. And that's just some of it. We'll check it again, Shari, in the next half hour.
Well, we'd hate to hear all of it because that's just some of it. All right.
Yeah.
Matt, thanks. Remember to keep the 6 ABC app handy to stay on top of this rain and how it's impacting your road travel. Let's talk about the details now for that AccuWeather alert.
Meteorologist Cecily Tanya is here now in the Weather Center with the latest on Tropical Storm Faye, and we're just ready for her to just go somewhere else. Right?
Yeah, well, Tropical Storm Faye has moved ashore, and now the situation is really improving at the Jersey Shore. This is our live Sky 6. This is Sea Isle. You can see some folks are out biking. They're running. There's a bit of a breeze, and the clouds are trying to break. I actually saw a rainbow about 10 minutes ago. So the rain has moved off the Jersey Shore. It's moved inland, and even inland now, it really is beginning to weaken. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing that it's still raining around Philadelphia and areas to the north, but again, it's lessening in intensity. As we zoom in, you can see there's one heavy band that's moved through Willow Grove. It's heading towards Norristown right now. It's kind of pivoting to the west, southwest. Also, just to the west of Trenton, we had a cluster of some moderate rain. The heaviest rain right now is in Berks County. It's just moved west of Reading. It's moving west along 422, and we also have some heavier rain that's moving along I-78 heading towards Hamburg, and the rain will continue to lessen in intensity as we head through the evening hours, but we still have problems with some flash flooding, so you really do want to be careful. It seems like the Atlantic City area is a bit of a magnet when it comes to tropical storms. Faye made landfall shortly before 5 o'clock with maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, 10 miles north-northeast of Atlantic City. Then we had Superstorm Sandy back in 2012, hit near Brigantine with maximum sustained winds of 80 miles per hour. And the year before, remember Tropical Storm Irene hit near Atlantic City with 70-mile-an-hour winds in the wee hours of the morning. So Atlantic City looks like it's kind of a beacon for these tropical systems. That flood warning does continue for Philadelphia area, the nearby suburbs down to the south into Cumberland County, Newcastle County. You just do want to be careful. We've seen a lot of street flooding, some of the smaller creeks and streams also overflowing their banks. Temperature-wise, though, hey, at least we got a break from the heat. Temperature is stuck in the 70s today, but it is very humid. Dew points generally in the 70s, and the wind speeds you can see really not all that impressive. This was more of a rainstorm than a windstorm. Satellite and radar showing you can see with this imagery that center circulation coming ashore, again, just north of Atlantic City, continuing to push up to the north. So those bands of heavy rain also will be lifting north as we head through the evening hours. By 9 o'clock, I think the steady rain is moving out of our area. We'll just have some lingering clouds. Tomorrow morning, mixture of clouds and sunshine, temperatures in the 70s. Into the afternoon, we will see a scattering of showers and thunderstorms. Looks like the best chance would be Philadelphia and areas northwest. You can see they're hit or miss. Not everyone will get them, but everyone's going to feel that heat and humidity inland. That heat index by the afternoon up to 95 degrees. So we get rid of the tropical storm, but we bring back the heat and humidity. The 5-day at 5 showing for your Saturday. It's hot, it's humid, 91 degrees. A few afternoon thunderstorms on Sunday, 93. We drop back into the upper 80s Monday and Tuesday. Chance of some thunderstorms Monday afternoon. Wednesday back into the 90s, 91, and it gets hotter on Thursday. Adam will talk about that in the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Rick and Shari.
Hello again. We continue to follow that AccuWeather alert on Action News at 5:30 now.
Tropical Storm Faye swept through our region, dumping rain and bringing some strong winds right along with it.
Check out the scene here during high tide in Atlantic City as Faye approached the Jersey Shore. You can see the waves whipping against the seawall, creating dangerous conditions in the water.
Well, Sky 6 HD now giving us this live view of the Ben Franklin Bridge. Rain still falling and also attracting to our camera there those droplets. The rain does remain, although not as extreme as earlier today, as Faye is moving north.
Slowly but surely. All right, we have live complete coverage at this hour. Action News reporter Maggie Kent standing by, where the flooding is causing big problems in that area.
Well, let's begin with meteorologist Adam Joseph with the very latest on Faye's track. Also a look at how much rain we got from this storm, Adam.
Of rain on the order of to 4 inches across much of the area. And as we look at the latest radar imagery on 3D, Tropical Storm Faye is now on land, the center of the storm. But all of the heavy rain and any of the gusty winds was with the bands of rain north of the center. So very little happening right now at the shore. It's near Atlantic City, the center, but the sun is shining in spots, no rain, and very little in the way of wind, but we're still dealing with all that water inland. In fact, the Chester Creek at Chester is cresting right now at 11.4 feet above its flood stage of 8 feet. So that is considered moderate flooding, and we'll start to see it subside as we go into the evening and overnight hours. And also some flooding at the Christina River at Cooch's Bridge. This is minor flooding a foot above its flood stage around 7 o'clock tonight. That also will begin to wind down. And what else is winding down is the rainfall rates. As you can see here, there's only a little bit of yellow left over, but just some light showers at times here in southeastern Pennsylvania. But give it another couple of hours, the rain will end, and we will dry it out for most of the weekend. Sure, we'll chat about that coming up in a little bit.
All right, a difference is coming.
Yeah.
Adam, thanks. Our live complete coverage continues right now at the shore. Action News reporter Maggie Kent live in Atlantic City, where it is looking much better compared to how things were a few hours ago, Maggie. Yeah, enjoy that part of the day.
I am smiling under this mask, Shari. This is like very synonymous with the fact that the work week is over, the weekend is here, the sun is out. Looks much, much different than what we were experiencing earlier. And as you can see, the boardwalk is starting to fill up once again. Business is booming down here in AC just in time for Friday night after Faye. It's amazing the difference a few hours can make. A calm has settled over Atlantic City after the tropical storm named Faye.
This morning was a sleep-in morning. So when we got up, it was dissipated, and now it's beautiful out.
Early on, Faye brought bands of rain, rough surf, whitecaps battering down on the beach, and rip current warnings. A nasty start to Friday.
Very windy and very cold.
It was pouring in the morning, and we walked out into the beach, and a girl on the four-wheeler came by and kicked us off.
The power of Mother Nature, an exciting lesson for these kids from Pittsburgh.
It's very windy and it feels like it's about to wipe me off my feet.
Now the crowds are filling the boards once again. The weekend has begun for tourists and things are shaping up.
Wasn't that bad? And it's really nice out here. I just refuse to go to the beach. I've seen the waves. It's really bad.
Yeah, and we've checked on the waves as well. They are still very dangerous out there. That rip current risk is still happening. I would say just skip it, wait until tomorrow, and then check on the conditions again. But tonight, looking beautiful out here. The sun is even shining. It feels like Faye never came, but obviously she did. She's just long gone in time for the weekend. We're live in Atlantic City. Maggie Kent, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
All right, that's right. Better beach day tomorrow at the shore. Thank you, Maggie. And you can get the latest on the wet conditions anywhere you go by going to our 6ABC app. There you can track the heavy rain, flooding, and strong winds from Storm Tracker 6 and our hourly forecast. The 6ABC app is a free download for your mobile device.
Yeah, drivers who were out today had to contend with the weather. Flooding created some traffic issues for this Friday evening. Matt Pellman now with the Action News traffic report. Hey, Matt.
Hey, sorry, we're going to grab our personal flotation device and try and get this weekend started. Bunch of things to steer around if you have to head out. On the Ben Franklin Bridge, I feel bad for this guy. His big rig broke down on the westbound side right at the mid-span. Right lane is still blocked. Live look at 95 in South Philadelphia. Still very wet here in the southbound lanes getting up onto the Girard Point Bridge. There's a crash up ahead on the shoulder, but the delay that we saw a few minutes ago isn't looking quite as bad now. Slow here in both directions. It's where the Schuylkill meets up with the Vine. Eastbound Schuylkill is not closed yet. They were supposed to close it at noon. They pushed the closure back to tomorrow morning because of the weather, and then it will stay closed all weekend. Here's the Blue Route just north of the Schuylkill. Another accident on the shoulder on the northbound side, but luckily delay isn't as bad as it was a little while ago. Bunch of problems in South Jersey. There's high water on 295 northbound approaching 42, speeds in the teens. Route 45 is closed in Woodbury because of flooding, as is Route 47, Delsea Drive, just south of Glassboro. If you're heading down the shore on 47, there's a crash south of Petersburg Road, giving you slowing, maybe still over on the Parkway, or Route 50 could be another alternate. And getting into North Wildwood, still have high water there along 147. Very busy, very wet. Safe travels getting home. Rick, back over to you.
You too, man. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. Let's get an update on that AccuWeather alert that's in effect. Heavy downpours, as we've been mentioned, creating flood concerns all across our region tonight.
Yeah, nothing sweet about this forecast today, but eventually she's got to get out of here, Faye.
Yeah, and moving out now, the rainfall intensity, it is really tapering off at this point, and a lot of the worst flooding is behind us when you're talking about roads. We do still have an aerial flood warning, just meaning that there are some high water spots anywhere in the green, which is throughout Salem and Cumberland and parts of Camden, Gloucester, Philadelphia County, Delaware County, Wilmington to Middletown till 8:45. In this area, between 2 to 4 inches of rain has fallen, and thankfully, that rain that is coming down is very light at this moment in time. In fact, as we take a look at Storm Tracker 6 live, we did see some breaks of sun at the shore, and now you can see a couple of showers trying to spin their way from west to east in Cape May County, and also the bright yellows and reds and oranges on the radar. They're kind of absent at this point, and you can see some holes here and there. So it's a light rain and drizzle at this moment in time. But there's one little batch that's now rotating from King of Prussia, Norristown, down towards Paoli and Malvern, and some ongoing rain here as far west as Berks County. This area picking up a little more than an inch of rain, while other areas had a lot more in the rain gauge. Again, some areas up towards 4 to 5 inches in Dover today. Visibility, it is low as well, so that's slowing things down here on our Friday evening. 1.5 miles Philadelphia, 1 mile Trenton, 2 miles in Allentown, a little bit better Lancaster, Wilmington, Dover, 10-mile visibility, which is actually perfect visibility when you're talking about the weather world. Right now, temps in the low to the mid 70s, no matter where you are. You can see the streamlines. These are winds. There's the center of Fay, now north of Atlantic City, heading into northern New Jersey. So that spin with the storm, it wasn't tremendously strong when you're talking about the wind gusts today. A lot of the wind gusts were stronger this morning with the leading edge of the rain. And as you note, again, everything's starting to fall apart as it's lifting to the north. So as we go into the day tomorrow, sunshine and tremendously muggy due to all of that extra moisture in the ground now. And the heat returns. It is going to feel like 90 at 10 o'clock, mid 90s right through the afternoon. And be aware that there will be some downpours and thunderstorms popping, which could release a lot of rain in a short amount of time in select locations tomorrow. The biggest concern would be northern Delaware near I-95 to the north, not so much the shore. And as we get into the afternoon hours of Sunday, the heat index once again in the mid 90s. So both days this weekend, very uncomfortable outdoors. In the Poconos, better 80 degrees with that afternoon storm. Sunny on Sunday, 81. And at the shore, Saturday, sun and clouds, 83. Sunday, 85 degrees, warm. And on the muggy side, no chance really of any rain at the shore this weekend. And rip currents, still a moderate risk tomorrow because, again, the water's so churned up, like a washing machine is going to have to take a little time to settle down. The exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast, 90s over the weekend, feeling like the mid 90s. Only chance of storms this weekend will be in the afternoon tomorrow. And then Monday, another round of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Not as hot, 89. Not bad. Tuesday, 88. And then the heat's back on along with high humidity in the middle of next week with another heat wave on the way. Shari?
All right. Adam, thanks.
Tropical Storm Fay still making its presence felt tonight. Bands of rain still whipping around the Delaware Valley. This after drenching downpours and wind gusts of 50 miles per hour pounded the Jersey Shore this morning. It is Friday night. Jim's off. I'm Rick Williams. And the big story on Action News tonight is the AccuWeather alert as Tropical Storm Fay moves up the New Jersey coastline. Showers and downpours are still whipping inland at this hour. We have team reporters tracking the effects of Fay for us. Chad Padelli covering Philadelphia and its suburbs tonight. Katie Catro is at the Jersey Shore, and reporter Jacqueline Lee in Burlington County. But first, meteorologist Cecily Tynan with the latest track and what to expect as Fay moves out this evening. Cecily.
And Rick, conditions will continue to improve as we head through the evening hours. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing that the center of Fay is right now over Ocean County. Winds at 50 miles per hour maximum sustained. It made landfall about an hour ago, about 10 miles north of Atlantic City. And actually, landfall had very little fanfare because the strongest part of the storm is not near the center. It's well ahead of it. This is a front-loaded storm, so the heavy rain, the highest winds well in advance of the actual center of circulation. circulation. Storm Tracker 6 Live double scan showing that we have one area of some heavy downpours just pivoting to the west. It's just north of Doylestown right now, and we'll continue to see a few of these for the next couple of hours, but generally the rain will start to lessen in intensity, and that's a good thing. We needed the rain, but we didn't need this much in basically 10 hours of time. Philadelphia now reporting officially over 4 inches of rain, Wildwood close to 4 inches, Dover close to 5 inches, Wilmington close to 3 inches of rain, and even Allentown and Reading well more than an inch of rain. You get that much rain in a short period of time, you do get the flash flooding. So be careful tonight. We still have an aerial flood warning for Philadelphia and the nearby suburbs and areas to the south into Cumberland County, New Jersey, also Newcastle County. There are some creeks, some streams, some streets with water that's flowing. Do not try to drive through any flooded roads. Winds, though, today showing anywhere from about 43 to more than 50 miles per hour at the shore. The winds diminish, and tonight that rain will continue lifting to the north, exiting shortly after sunset. Tomorrow it's hot and muggy with some scattered afternoon thunderstorms. I'll track them coming up in the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Rick?
All right, Seth, we'll check back in later. Thank you. Now let's switch live to Action News reporter Chad Padelli, who is in Darby tonight. And Chad, the biggest problem inland was flooding. There's also the potential for more downpours this evening there as well.
Yeah, Rick, they call it flash flooding for a reason. It comes in a flash, it goes in a flash, and that's the case here on Bartram at Oak Lane. This road was shut down a couple of hours ago, but you can see the floodwaters have receded, and that's been the theme across the region. The minivan came to a slow stall on University Avenue at the westbound entrance to the Schuylkill Expressway.
But everybody was making it. So I was like, okay, and I just tried to plow through it, and I got as far as there, and I got stuck. The water started rising really fast.
Damie Arkin didn't know what to do.
I called 911, and they were excellent. They came right out.
She ended up walking out of her vehicle. Its condition is unknown, but lesson learned.
Moral of the story, don't do what I did. Don't go through the water. If sensors tell you not to do it, don't do it.
Delaware County Emergency Management says small flooding occurred at the typical spots. 291 was shut down in both directions between Sea Knight and Stewart Avenues. In Montgomery County, there was flash flooding on Red Lion at Philmont. Not devastating flooding, but more evidence of the nuisance flooding caused by this storm.
Rain cloud, and then we have videos that the water came up almost to here.
Up in Melrose Park on Coventry Avenue, Erwin Ochovillo has been watching the rain and, more importantly, the strain. His home and his neighbors flooded earlier this week after runoff from a construction site clogged the drains on his street. He had to rip out a foot of his basement wall, and bags of belongings are now trash.
Can't get a break. I mean, it's just, Mother Nature, just when they struck, there's nothing you can do, just pray, I guess.
And at last check here in Delaware County, there was no injuries and little damage. I'm live in Darby. Chad Padelli, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
All right, Chad, thank you. Tropical Storm Faye made landfall this afternoon just north of Atlantic City. You can see the storm kicked up surf, waves pounding the pier here, but that did not deter some from strolling on the boardwalk in the rain this afternoon. And Faye left her mark along the coast early today as well. Floods quickly overtook roadways in Ocean City. Action News reporter Katie Cacho is all day in Ocean City. And Katie, what's the situation there tonight?
Well, Rick, it's starting to rain here in Ocean City again, and I'm on the beach, and you can see there's not much of the beach left. Ocean City Beach Patrol says you're allowed to do this, walk on the sand, but they do not want you in the water. That's because these waves have been violent all day long.
These waves are legit crazy, and it's way past the tide level.
Today's storm came in bursts. Many say they came up to Ocean City's boardwalk to see the waves crashing as something to do for the day.
We needed to get out, so get some fresh air.
But then the rain started to pour, catching the crowds off guard. Many walking with soaked pizza boxes.
It was actually a little bit rougher than we expected, so we kind of got down there and came right back up.
Ocean City Beach Patrol is fully staffed today, letting people stand on whatever sand is left, but making sure no one gets in the water to swim or surf. How dangerous is the water?
It's as bad as it can get at this point. I mean, it's uncontrollable. It's just an angry ocean.
We had almost zero visibility as rain pounded on the Action News van's windshield driving on the Atlantic City Expressway. Around cross streets, we saw roads turn to rivers, some cars taking their chances, driving right through, not heeding officials' warnings to turn around. Many drivers say they weren't expecting torrential downpours, like Nikki Newton, who says she was caught in the high winds at the peak of the storm, driving from Tuckahoe to Ocean City.
The roads are really bad. It took me about a half an hour to get here, usually 15 minutes, so it's really bad out there.
And back out here live, Rick, I want to show you what the boardwalk looks like as the rain has started to come down. A lot of people taking shelter under awnings. Many people just still want to make the most of this beach day regardless of this weather that we've been having. Reporting live in Ocean City, Katie Castro, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
Okay, and of course, better days tomorrow, Katie. Thank you. Let's head inland in New Jersey now. Action News reporter Jacqueline Lee has been surveying the situation in Burlington County for us tonight. She's joined us live from West Henry Street in Palmyra. Hi, Jacqueline.
Hey, Rick. Well, we found ourselves a makeshift pond courtesy of Tropical Storm Faye. It's several inches deep. Now, what we're looking at is actually a playground to one of the local schools here in Palmyra. The good news, though, is that the water accumulation seems to be limited to the fields and the playgrounds rather than the roads. As Tropical Storm Faye made its way throughout Burlington County, bringing heavy rain at times, some residents celebrated.
It's needed. Everything's been dry for so long that we need a good rain.
But not everyone agreed. Some saw it as a safety hazard.
I thought it would be a little bit lighter. I'm coming down one of the streets and it's like already flooded. And I didn't realize how it was, so I kind of like hydroplaned a little bit.
Over at the Burlington County Office of Emergency Management, officials spent the day monitoring the storm, assessing the dams to the north and south, and keeping in touch with the 40 municipalities within the region, ready to provide assistance if necessary.
One of our main concerns is obviously the speed of the storm. The longer it hangs over the area, the more water. When you start getting torrential downpours.
Officials in Morristown and Cinnaminson say they have and continue to do storm preparations, like cleaning out storm drains and getting vehicles ready should there be any severe damage.
It's windy, it's warm, it's a little cold. I mean, you're getting it all right here.
But in the event that officials need to conduct emergency flooding evacuations, COVID-19 has complicated things.
So if we have individuals who are either positive or symptomatic towards COVID-19, we're probably going to have to find special areas that we would have to isolate them. And remember, we still have to follow the restrictions of indoor, of how many people are allowed to be maintained in a building at one time.
And of course, officials want to remind everyone, do not walk or drive through puddles. It could be a lot more dangerous than you think. Live in Palmyra, Jacqueline Lee, Channel 6 Action News. Rick.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you. In Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, lifeguards shut down the beach there today. Red flags were flying, warning beachgoers not to go into the rough waters. Some folks came out to check on the conditions from the sand. Lifeguards say the real threat could come this weekend, and they'll be monitoring rip currents as people get back into the water tomorrow. In Newcastle, Action News was there as people helped a man get out of his car out of high water along Southgate Boulevard. And drivers took their chances driving through floodwaters on James Court in Wilmington. Well, with our 6 ABC app, you have access to Storm Tracker 6 radar anytime. Check in to view radar, hourly forecasts, and the latest from our team of meteorologists. All right, let's get an update on that AccuWeather alert. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan is here now. A lot of folks at the shore hoping for a better beach day tomorrow.
Yes, it certainly will be, but there's still a risk of rip currents tomorrow, so you do want to be careful. Let's go live on Sky 6, taking a look towards the Ben Franklin Bridge, and notice lots of clouds. We have some of those raindrops on our lens, still some showers around, and live Sky 6 at theshore.com. This is in Atlantic City. We saw some peaks of blue a few minutes ago, but now the clouds have rolled in, and there are a few showers, but the heaviest steady rain has left our region. So that's the good news. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing that we do still have some activity out there. There are a few light showers in Cape May County and Atlantic County. You can kind of see the spin of the radar. The steadiest rain right now is north of Philadelphia. Philadelphia, we have some light showers. There's one little band of some heavy rain that's crossing 611 right now. You can see how it's pivoting to the west and southwest. Quakertown, you'll be getting in it. movement within about the next 20 minutes, and it'll continue then to move into parts of Montgomery County. But generally, as we head through the evening hours, we will begin to dry out, and tomorrow and Sunday we'll see a good amount of sunshine. But pretty amazing how the Atlantic City area seems to be a bit of a beacon for tropical systems. Faye made landfall shortly before 5 o'clock with 50-mile-an-hour maximum sustained winds 10 miles north of Atlantic City. Back in 2012, Superstorm Sandy hit near Brigantine, packing winds of 80 miles per hour. And the year before that, in the middle of the night, Irene made landfall near Atlantic City with winds near 70 miles per hour. So Atlantic City area seems to be a bit of a magnet for tropical storms. Today, temperatures in the 70s, a rare cool day this July. Philadelphia currently 75 degrees, down from a high of 78 with all the clouds and the rain. It was cool, but it was also very humid. Dew points in the 70s, and that's where they will remain through the day tomorrow. It's still going to feel tropical, even though that tropical storm will be out of here. Satellite and radar showing, you can see how Faye continues to push to the north, and then if you look to the west, there's a frontal boundary that's pushing in, and that could touch off a few showers and thunderstorms late in the day tomorrow. Tonight at 9 o'clock, that steady rain north of Philadelphia. We dry out overnight. Tomorrow morning, mixture of clouds and sunshine at 8 o'clock, and then into the afternoon, again, it's hit or miss, a scattering of showers and thunderstorms. Best chance would be Philadelphia and areas north and west. Tomorrow, though, the heat and humidity is making a comeback. By 8 o'clock, that heat index, the way it feels, already 80 degrees. By 11 o'clock, it'll feel like 93, 95 by 1 o'clock, and still feeling like temperatures are in the 90s when you factor in that humidity well into the evening hours. If you're heading to the Poconos, keep your eye to the sky. A few afternoon thunderstorms tomorrow. Otherwise, partly sunny and humid. 80. Sunday, partly sunny with a high of 81. Mixture clouds and sun at the Jersey Shore. 83 tomorrow. Sunday, 85. But again, do be careful. There is a moderate risk of rip currents tomorrow at the Jersey Shore and the Delaware beaches, so please listen to your lifeguards. The exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Tropical storms out of here. Heat and humidity making a comeback. 91 degrees tomorrow. A few afternoon thunderstorms. On Sunday, 93. Heat index in the mid-90s. Monday, 89. Some thunderstorms. Tuesday, a touch less humid, 88. But then the humidity cranks back up on Wednesday, as well as the temperature, 91 degrees. Thursday, 95, and the heat index likely close to 100. Friday, officially making this the second heat wave of the year, 94, and looks like temperatures in the 90s right through the weekend. So definitely try to stay cool. Rick?
All right, Seth, thank you.